spring-like. Fans were awash in purple as they welcomed perhaps the most talented opening day roster in club history. Everything went as planned, save the outcome. Today, the pageantry has become yesterday's news, and the journey begins with expectations sky high. Today, in fact, is game 2 of the journey that is 162 games long, and we have a beautiful Saturday evening for game 2. Rockies and Diamondbacks getting set. Another big crowd in excess of 40,000 tonight expected. Hi once again, everybody. Good evening. Along with my partner, George Frazier, I'm Drew Goodman. Tonight, Jorge De La Rosa takes the baseball in Game 2. And generally speaking, when he's been healthy the last couple of years, that has been a good thing. He's a guy that's overcome himself to a certain degree, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. And I think that's one thing. If you went down and watched him through a bullpen, you would actually think you're watching Sandy Koufax, the Hall of Famer. It was trouble for him to carry that bullpen out between the white lines when a batter came in. So this is where Ron Svedix really came into it. Middle strength guy with the Rockies. What he did was, let's talk about tunnel vision. Let's imagine that the rubber's 24 inches, home plate's 18, you're in a tunnel, your focus is on a catcher. Yes, there's a hitter there, but your focus needs to be with the catcher. And ever since they went through these drills with him, you go back a couple of years ago, it's been pretty good. Barring the injuries, he's been good.
Well, Ron has helped him a great deal, and so is his longtime pitching coach now, Bob Apodaca.
He has come so far in the last 2-3 years as far as confidence in himself, confidence in his teammates. What he possesses, I don't even need to talk about. It has always been the ability to control that inner Jorge so that that electric Jorge can really come out.
Well, he's also a dad now, and he's married, and maturity has settled in. So Jorge De La Rosa is in a very good place as he begins the 2011 season. We're in a good place, and those guys out in center field are in a pretty good place. Helmer, it's all yours again.
All right, thank you, Drew. We appreciate it. We're going to take a break here on Root Sports. When we come back, hopefully Jorge De La Rosa can give the bullpen a little bit of a breather tonight. They worked hard yesterday. More on that when we return. just finished his warm-up pitches, and he's making his way to the dugout. The Rockies getting set to tangle with Arizona in the second game of this three-game series. Yesterday, Jim Tracy went to the bullpen a lot more than he wanted to. There's only 7 guys in the pen. He used 6 of them. Franklin Morales was the only guy that didn't play.
Well, what has to worry a little bit in here, Houston Street walked a guy, gave up a hit. He faced 5 batters. They didn't have crisp innings. You want them to at least have a crisp inning. If they go out and they throw 12 or 13 pitches, it's no big deal. When they get to the 20 and more, then you start to get worried, particularly this early in the season. That's why they need De La Rosa to carry a little bit tonight.
Tom, on the flip side for Arizona, Kirk Gibson says that their closer, J.J. Putz, will be available tonight, even though he didn't pitch extensively in spring training. Like what he saw yesterday, he'll be able to go back-to-back days. And also, Jim Tracy said that Jose Lopez moves up in the order 1 spot so you can get lefty-righty, lefty-righty. John Patterson didn't pitch for Arizona. He's the sidearm guy. They just want to have balance in the lineup because of that.
Well, hopefully the Rockies can pick up a victory today. It'll be their first of 2011. Stay right where you are. When we come back, it's the first pitch between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. We'll get it upstairs to Drew Goodman, George Frazier, and Jeff Houston. That's next on Root Sports.
On Root Sports is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By the Ford F-150, it's not just a pickup truck, it's a Ford F-150. Drive one. By the fast, reliable, secure, heavy-duty internet from Quest. And by Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards. Unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. It is summer-like right now as Jorge De La Rosa leads the Rockies onto the field. Let's take a look at the Southwest starting lineup tonight for Kirk Gibson's Arizona Diamondbacks. They won 7-6 yesterday in 11 innings. And they'll begin again with Willie Bloomquist. Stephen Drew still not ready to go with the abdominal strain. Kelly Johnson got off to a good start yesterday. He had a couple of hits. Justin Upton, a 3-run home run. Chris Young. Ryan Roberts gets a start at third base. He was not in the lineup yesterday. Miguel Montero, he homered yesterday. The X-Man, Xavier Nady, 32-year-old, former Cal product, and then Gerardo Parra and Daniel Hudson, former Chicago White Sox pitcher, who came in a trade last year for Edwin Jackson. As you look at De La Rosa.
Yeah, the left-hander going out. He just needs to go out and pitch well, working a downward plane, stay within himself. A year ago, 8-7, 121 and 2/3 innings. He walked 55, struck out 113, and the house has been friendly. 6-3 at home a year ago with an earned run average right around 4. And in his career, 31-20, 11 games over at his own house when he pitches.
And he's pitched well against his former club, the Arizona Diamondbacks. This should be a strength for the Rockies again in 2011. Defense. Cargo a Gold Glove. Dexter Fowler may earn one at some point in his career. Seth Smith in right. Tulowitzki has a Gold Glove. He leads that infield with Stewart getting his first start of the year. Chris Iannetta behind the plate. Helton and Lopez on the right side. Lopez had a great first day with the Rockies, both offensively and defensively. Settle in. We're ready to go. Glad you're with us here on Root Sports. Jorge De La Rosa to the veteran journeyman, Willie Bloomquist.
Nice day yesterday for Bloomquist. Did the right thing. Just tried to keep the ball down on the ground and utilized his speed. Got a stolen base yesterday.
First pitch of the ball game, poured over the outside corner at 94 miles an hour for strike one. And this is down and in, 1-1. Diamondbacks a year ago struggled, just 65 wins. But as Troy Tulowitzki told me around the batting cage, he said they always play the Rockies tough. And it does seem that way, George, doesn't it?
They do. And you know, they've had bad teams in the last couple of years. They've been 55 games under 500 as a team. Yet when they played the Rockies, particularly at Coors Field, where you see the Rockies have had big advantage. And I think they've taken a new attitude with Kirk Gibson this year. He was not able to instill what he wanted to. Now it's his ball club.
That's fouled off, 2-2. Game time temperature, by the way. Check this out. It's almost 13 minutes after 6 in the evening. It is 79 degrees on April 2nd.
Yeah, wonderful day at the yard. Now the winds are going to play a little bit of role in this. They could gust up to 18 miles an hour during the course of this ball game tonight.
Ground ball up the middle, and that'll sneak through for a leadoff single for Bloomquist. Well, a year ago, De La Rosa made 20 starts for the Rockies. He missed basically a third of the season because of that finger injury, George.
Well, when you get into that knuckle area, it's very difficult to grip the curveball. But when it did come back, it came back very well for De La Rosa. I mean, he made some big starts for the Rockies down the stretch. He was able to really utilize all of his pitches. And you look for him to do that now. After a spring training where he went 2-1, he pitched 19 innings. The one thing that kind of jumped out a little bit, he elevated his fastball. He did give up those 4 home runs in spring training, but he struck out 17, and he only walked 2.
And that's an issue. It had been an issue for him at times in the past. This guy hits lefties, Kelly Johnson.
He hits everybody.
He does. Great numbers from last season.
Well, you just don't anticipate a lot of second basemen throwing up 26 home runs and 71 RBIs.
He was the National League Player of the Month last April, if you recall. He hit 9 home runs last April. As we bring in Jeff Houston in his familiar spot.
Well, yeah, you talk about the nice weather. I took my jacket off. It's a little warm down here today, but the wind will be a little bit of a factor here because it's swirling down here on the field level, but the flags looks like it's blowing maybe out to right just a little bit more.
That's when you have a real plus fastball, George. And Jeff, he's sitting heater. He's sitting in a location. It's 2-0 as you look at the gorgeous weather statistics. And he's tardy with the swing on a 2-0 fastball at 95.
Yeah, well, it's left on left, and it's moving. I mean, it's coming at you pretty quick. And that's one thing that De La Rosa, with that little bit of a hesitation at the top, I think throws off the timing of a hitter.
And Johnson was badly fooled there, Huey.
Well, because you're beat by a fastball on a 2-0 count. I mean, you foul it over their dugout, so all you do, you start to commit your swing as soon as he lifts up his leg almost, because you're saying, I'm not going to get beat again, and then he throws one down and away on you. That's why he looks silly like Kelly did.
Yeah. Notice those splits. We were talking about it's lefties. 3-10, 12 of his 26 home runs came left on left last year. Bloomquist takes off, and Iannetta's throw did not get him.
Bill Wilkie, I think the reason he had a delayed call, he wanted to see if Bloomquist came off of the bag. Second stolen base in this series for Willie Bloomquist. Break a ball down away from Iannetta. He did a nice job of exchanging the baseball. Bloomquist, though, with a very good jump against a left-handed pitcher. So watch as that foot comes through. That's what Wilkie continued to watch, and that's a good job by Troy Tulowitzki to keep the tag on him.
There's still a little bit of moisture on the dirt out here. They watered it just a little bit more because of the wind, and so then you slide just a little bit further.
3-2 on Johnson. Nobody out, runner at second, and it's fouled off. Kelly Johnson was a sandwich pick out of high school. He's from the Austin, Texas area. Came up with the Atlanta Braves, originally an outfielder. Glenn Hubbard helped convert him to second base, and it's been a good transition for him. Swung on and missed. That's a big strikeout there as De La Rosa fans Johnson for the first out.
Well, it is big because he has had the ability to throw something other than a fastball for a strike. You can see on the fourth strike zone where he works him continually away from him. And then here you can really see it. That may have been a changeup. It looked coming out of the hand like his fingers were split on a split finger versus the other. And the reason it gave you a curveball type action was because he had a stronger pull with the middle finger than he did with the index finger.
See, those folks need sunscreen. You don't think going to a night game you're going to need sunscreen. Bloomquist at second. Justin Upton steps in.
Yeah, look at the grip coming right out. You can see it right here in his hand, that the fingers are on top of those two seams, and then as it came through, look at this pitch. Good idea. High riding fastball. Couldn't extend his arms. Couldn't catch up to it.
That ate him up, didn't it? 2 gone as Upton is retired. And that'll bring up Chris Young.
Got your gloves ready. Got Dad with him at the yard. What a better day, huh?
Short sleeves, too. April 2nd.
You know, I was a little surprised there wasn't any April Fool's jokes yesterday.
You know, I completely forgot. My kids, I get home and they keep telling April Fool's jokes and not being the sharpest tool in the shed. It took me like the 4th joke where I realized why they. Oh, it's April 1st. That didn't surprise you, did it?
No.
Chris Young, last year, an all-star season for Young. And that's in there for a strike.
See, what he's done right now is he's showing you a split finger behind in the count for a strike. He just showed you a slider for a strike. Now he's able to throw his fastball for a strike. As a hitter, it's extremely difficult to adjust when you see a guy getting 3 over.
And this ball is hit pretty well to center field, but Dexter Fowler should have it, and he will. So after a leadoff single by Bloomquist and a stolen base, he's left stranded at second. We'll see the bats of the Rockies when we come back. Bottom of the first inning on a gorgeous night at Coors Field with Jeff Houston, George Frazier, and Alana Rizzo. I'm Drew Goodman. There's Jim Tracy. Let's take a look at his Southwest Batting order this evening, similar to yesterday. Dexter Fowler will lead it off. Seth Smith had a good day yesterday. Cargo with 3 hits on opening day. Troy Tulowitzki will bat 4th. Todd Helton 5th. Jose Lopez moves to the 6th spot. Ian Stewart's in there. Chris Iannetta and Jorge De La Rosa. So other than the pitcher, the only change is at third base. Stewart for Wigginton. And Dexter Fowler takes ball 1 from an old-time slinger, George, Daniel Hudson.
Yeah, you watch his arm action. I mean, really gets it long behind him, kind of slings it. That's why he has such a very good changeup. Low proximity with all of his fastballs. It'll range 90 to 94 miles an hour. He will show you a slider and curve, but his out pitch is his changeup. With Carney Langsford, he said he really feels like it's going to be difficult because of his velocity to lay back and just not go after the changeup, because that is his out pitch. And last year, he dominated the National League West. 4-0, 1.45 earned run average versus the West. Overall, a year ago, he was 8-2, but against the National League, he was 7-1 after the trade. Came for Edwin Jackson. Jerry DiPoto did a nice job plucking this guy out of the Chicago White Sox organization for Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, the final 2 months of the season, he had a 1.69 ERA. The opposition hit 183 against him. When he faced the Rockies, 7 innings of shutout baseball at Chase Field. He allowed just 4 hits, walked 2, struck out 9. Ball 4. So as he did yesterday to start things in the bottom of the first, Dexter Fowler draws a walk. And Huey, I said it yesterday, and it bears repeating. And you want this in a leadoff hitter. Fowler, for a young player still, has a very good eye.
Well, and he laid off some high ones, and those are the tough ones to lay off of a lot of times at 2-2, 3-2, because your eyes get so big and you're sitting there going, okay, I'm going to go after this one. You're amped up a little bit, but he realizes, you know what, my job's to get on base, and now he's going to distract Daniel Hudson, hopefully, at least to give Seth Smith an opportunity to get a good pitch to hit.
Yeah, if you're wondering, Montero last year threw out a little more than 25% of would-be base stealers.
A part of that, I think, it could be a little bit higher, but with so many of the right-handers on this ball club, and being young right-handers, as far as being able to control the running game.
You can see slide steps on that first pitch, and he misses away. George, you were used to working out of the stretch because you were a bullpen guy, but when you slide step versus lifting, does it sometimes throw off the timing of pulling the ball out of the glove?
There's no question. I didn't like it. I don't like the slide step. I'm still not a proponent of the slide step. And the reason behind that is if you're quick enough to the plate otherwise with your leg kick, and you still be able to set on your leg longer and get more drive off the back leg, and then it's going to be the effects you want at home plate. A lot of times guys at slide step will work under the ball. You elevate it. Now what happens? You got first and third. Your primary concern right now is this guy standing at home plate.
Way inside. And Fowler just did get back. Good throw by Montero to Xavier Nady.
But a better slide from Dexter Fowler because he really slid to the backside of this bag, the outside part. And that's what allowed it. Now watch where Xavier Nady is, and he's got to swipe all the way back because he's in the front part of it. The Ultimo will give you a good look at this. Watch Dexter's right hand go to that back outside part of the bag. Long sweep tag for Nady, and it was close.
2-0 for Smith at the plate. And it's fouled off.
The other thing I think you take into account with Xavier Nady at first base, he's typically an outfielder. He has played first a little bit, but that's not a primary position for him. I've seen a lot of first basemen with a very accurate catcher will set their leg where they put the knee down in front of the bag when they catch the ball if you have an accurate catcher. And that really prevents the base runner from getting his fingers back in underneath it to the bag. That's a soft toss for Daniel Hudson. It's a step and dive. You do that 4 or 5 times as a base runner, it starts to affect you at some point.
That's when you call timeout. Go dust off a little bit, catch your breath.
Working on it. Huey, how did you like to initiate your lead?
Left foot on the bag, take right, left, shuffle, shuffle. And that always got me to that same 14-foot lead, 12 to 14 foot. I mean, I knew where my right foot was going to be.
This ball sliced to left, but it's going to twist foul. Did she catch that baseball?
No, it ricocheted off the wall down there.
Two on the Ole Miss product. Seth Smith, 3 for 6 yesterday.
You might see that change up here for the first time.
And it's popped up to left field. It was the changeup, Huey. 1 out, and that'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez. Let's take a glance at the defensive alignment for the Diamondbacks tonight. Gerardo Parra, Chris Young, and in right field is Justin Upton. Ryan Roberts, Willie Bloomquist, Kelly Johnson, Xavier Nady in the infield, along with Miguel Montero doing the catching. So Cargo had 3 hits yesterday. You may recall Milwaukee last year. On opening day, he was 4 for 5. So got 7 hits in the last 2 openers, and that is smoked into right center field. Fowler will go to third, and Cargo is aboard with his 4th hit of the season. Can you hit it any harder? Wow. And here comes Tulowitzki. The Rockies have something cooking here in the bottom of the 1st inning. Time for our Fast Cash sideline report. We visit with Alana Rizzo. Hey, Alana.
Drew, yesterday Troy Tulowitzki was 0 for 5 at the plate, and everyone was saying that's not what you're supposed to do as a cleanup hitter when you sign that big contract, where Todd Helton actually stood up for him when he was talking about the pressures of coming that go along with a big contract. Here he goes.
You're still going to strike out. And I think sometimes that's the biggest obstacle, is that you strike out and you're like, well, I'm getting paid this much money, and baseball is a game of failure, and how you are able to handle that failure.
Guys, it's not about putting too much pressure on yourself, just continuing to be the player that got you the big contract to begin with. Another opportunity right here for Troy Tulowitzki to earn his money, but you know what? Even if the guy strikes out, he's going to do what he's supposed to do 9 times out of 10, Drew.
Yeah, I mean, this is a hard game, and guys like Jeff Houston and George Frazier know that.
Baseball card won't lie at the end of the year. Look at career numbers, and at the end of the year, he'll be right around those career numbers.
This is a great player,
Well,
and nobody pushes himself harder than himself.
Well, let's not forget he had a walk yesterday. He also lined out to left field. So, I mean, sometimes we get lost in those numbers. But at the same time, he had some good swings yesterday.
Yes,
not a real high average against Arizona, but he does have 12 home runs and 34 RBIs.
It's the first time he's got the slider or the changeup.
Change up at 84, and it ran right back towards Tulowitzki. And we're kind of off center, folks, with the camera. But that pitch starts away off of the plate, about 2 or 3 inches, and then it floats all the way back into the middle or inner half corner. So it's tough to sit back on it and wait.
Troy will try to shorten up here, get the ball in play.
Right now, the only thing Hudson's trying to do is get a ball on the ground at somebody. Troy, obviously, trying to get a ball airborne.
You put Cargo in motion here, Huey?
I wouldn't on this pitch. Next one I might.
Not going, and it's a double play ball. 6-4-3 on the turn. We turn the page to inning number 2. No score. By E470. Sign up for Express Toll today and start paying 20% less on E470 tolls. The series will be completed tomorrow afternoon right here on Root Sports. Sunday afternoon affair. Monday's an off day, and then the Dodgers come a-calling for just 2 ball games. And then the first road trip of the season, 4 against Clint Hurdle's Pirates, and then 4 against Terry Collins' New York Mets. Jorge De La Rosa, solid first inning, and he'll begin the second with Ryan Roberts. Not exactly your prototypical 5-hole hitter.
A little more pop than I think what people give him credit for, but he did everything to make his way onto this ball club this year. Spring training, had an outstanding spring, swung the bat well.
I was kidding him yesterday. He had a little league average. He hit over 500 this spring. Last year, he hit 197 in a little more than 60 at bats at the big league level. And it seems like, Huey, half of those hits came against the Rockies.
He was pretty special. I mean, that's the thing that Ryan Roberts will give you. He's a guy that can play all 4 infield positions. Kirk Gibson can run him out to left field, come off the bench and pitch hit. But this spring really just shortened his stroke a lot.
Roberts originally drafted by Toronto. He's out of the University of Texas, Arlington, which is a very good baseball program. He had 519 this spring, which led the Cactus League, it led the Grapefruit League, it led the Coconut League, it led the Banana League. Did I leave any leagues out?
No, I think you covered them all. Hey, that's what you have to do, though, if you're battling for a job. You got to go out and win it, and he earned it.
Well, interesting in this at bat against De La Rosa, he's seen 4 pitches. The count's 2-2, but on a 4th strike zone earlier, you saw where only 1 of those 4 pitches have been in the strike zone, which tells you he's chasing a little bit. There it is in the
first chance for Ian Stewart. Okay, all season long, join us for Toyota Talk. Text your comments live during the ball game and see what you and fellow Rocky fans have on their minds about this team and maybe anything else going on in baseball. Text Toyota followed by a space and then your comment to 720-720. You can follow everyone's comments live during the 6th inning, and then the entire Toyota postgame show you can text in. Standard messaging and data rates apply. Here's Miguel Montero. Montero's one of those guys. You know who he reminds me of a little bit of? Matt Stairs. Because he takes one swing, and it's all out, trying to hit the ball in the seats.
Well, the old joking saying was swing hard, something good might happen. He kind of follows that a little bit.
That just missed. Huey, you see Matt made another club this year. Stairs is on like his 48th club in his career, right?
Well, he's a guy comes off the bench, swings hard, tries to hit a few out. He's the only guy I've ever known that he goes, I'm going up there trying to hit a home run. He actually says that.
Yeah, he admits it. It's down low, 2-1.
Nobody else I've ever heard say that. It's, I was just trying to put the ball in play, hit it hard, square it up, whatever you want to say. But Matt, nope, I'm going up there to hit a home run.
Slow pitch softball at its finest.
Well, last year
he dropped some weight.
Yeah, and he's back to where we're used to seeing him throughout his career. Last year he went on the all-veggie diet. Here's the 2-1, and that's smoked back up the middle on through. Did that get Jorge?
Yeah, if it did, probably a shoe or a glove.
So Matt Stairs to finish that story now with the Washington Nationals. Well, there's a lot of Colorado ties between the Rockies and the Diamondbacks. They naturally share a facility, and they also have some all-timers on their staff. There's one, and Eric Young, the new first base coach, chatting up his former teammate Todd Helton.
A year ago, got back in uniform with the Houston Astros as a base-running infield-outfield instructor.
He's a lot like Vinny, who still works for the Rockies, Vinny Castilla. You rarely see either one of those guys in a bad mood. Always have a smile on their face, just fired up to be at the ballpark. And There's Eric Young, the most famous home run, one of the most famous home runs in Rockies history. And he was an all-star.
I think that's the one thing that Eric will bring to this ball club, but how to read pitchers, studying them, moves, times, all that. Because he's one of those guys, even though he was fast, he still studied them.
It's fouled off. Well, I always, sitting up here, Jeff, when Davey Lopes did first, you always felt like the guys that could run had a little bit of an advantage, knowing that Lopes was their base running guy and was standing there at first base. And I think Eric Young, to your point, may have that same kind of effect.
Oh, exactly, and it's nice to have those guys. I had Davey Lopes as a coach when I was with Texas, one of the best. I played with Eric Young, and you can learn. We would talk about pitches. What's he got? Is it slide step? How quick is he to the plate? Are you seeing anything? Can you pick up a sign from the catcher? Just little things like that he's relaying to Montero right now. He's just looking at the sign saying, okay, if he thinks it's the guys always look to the first base coach because sometimes they don't get them, so he'll whistle or give a nod of the head, whatever it may be, spit if he thinks that's the way to give a sign to a base runner.
2-strike counting, Xavier Nady. Good block by Iannetta. I remember when Nady came up, and he was a top prospect, a product of Cal Berkeley, who unfortunately just dropped their baseball program. He's a two-time All-American there. He's been in the league now. He's closing in on 8 years of service time. Concourse is busy this evening. Rock piles filled up. It's a great crowd. 1-2, and it's chopped foul. Matt Williams, normally the third base coach. Matt's on the DL right now. See, Matt was soft tossing to his 20-year-old son, who's a college player, first baseman, switch hitter, and he said, I didn't get my foot out of the way in time, and he got smoked. And he broke his foot. After this road trip, they go to Chicago on this trip. He comes home and he can get out of the walking boot, and then he's got to rehab a little bit more, and then he'll be back on the field. Glenn Sherlock, who's the bullpen coach, is coaching third in the interim. Ground ball down the third base line. Stewart, great pickup and a perfect throw. That was Tulo-esque. So with 2 outs on the fielder's choice, Montero to second. Well done by Stewart.
It really was, because when the backhand happens, he knows he doesn't have a play at second, so it's just spin, throw, and put it on the money to Todd Helton. Obviously, you'd like the shorter distance to take, but not when your momentum takes you out into foul territory and yet make that throw all the way across the infield.
He made that look too easy. That is not an easy play.
Makes it look like he practiced a couple of times.
Just once or twice. The only difference between he and Troy usually jumps up and makes that throw, but Ian Stewart, to where he was, just got rid of it very quickly.
Well, now Gerardo Parra. Of course, first base is open, but it's early in the game and it's left on left. De La Rosa would love to have Hudson lead off next inning.
Remember, he was in this situation though in yesterday's ball game, Drew, when he came up with a base hit in the top of the second inning to drive in their first run.
Yep.
With 2 outs.
He threw out a couple of hits yesterday. We're looking at you, sir.
Yeah. Turn them around the other way, you'll see better out of them.
Can he see us, or we? No.
Well, let's wave. Let's wave and see if he waves back at us. No, he's
not working.
All right. But I thought that it looked like he kind of had him around backwards.
I think he did. 0-2 on Parra. Those binoculars come with directions anymore?
Nope. They stopped that. Well, the kid ones you get, dude.
The ones we put together Christmas morning.
Yeah, the camping kits you get.
No score, top of 2. And this is lifted to center field. Fowler will have it, and De La Rosa again leaves a runner at second base. Middle of 2, no score. Sir, please flip him around. You got to flip him around.
Somebody's called on the cell phone and say we're talking about Chuck. Chuck was AAA pitching coach for the Rockies, and then because he wanted to spend a little more time with his father as he got along in years, and so he lives in Colorado Springs up to watch the ball game. His team, the Rockies, and his former team, the Arizona Diamondbacks, where he worked as a pitching coach for the Diamondbacks.
So when you get out of uniform, you don't recognize people.
You're just hanging out in the crowd. I mean, you're just one of the guys.
Helton leading off. Todd yesterday. 2 hits on opening day, now a 12-game opening day hitting streak, which along with Vladimir Guerrero is the best current streak in baseball. And Helton reaches down and pops this up. Bloomquist, 1 out. Bring up Jose Lopez. Lopez had a good day yesterday at the plate. He had a couple hits, including a home run in the 6th inning. He also lined out and hit one to the track in left center field and made 2 sparkling plays defensively. Here's the home run yesterday. 6th inning against Ian Kennedy.
Yeah, and he just missed another one that he hit deep.
I asked him if he had greater nerves yesterday playing for a new organization. He said, I did until I had to make that play on on the first ground ball of the game, and he said that quieted the nerves. It was a heck of a play made. This ball's driven to the track in right field, hauled in by Justin Upton.
Well, a reminder, just $59. That's all it costs for Coca-Cola value packs. Are available for every April game except the Cup Series. Call the Rockies today and make arrangements to get the value pack. It's available. You can purchase it at Coors Field or 1-800-388-ROCK or go to ColoradoRockies.com.
Stewart had an at-bat yesterday against Ian Kennedy, pinch hitting, and he struck out against his high school teammate. The numbers from a year ago. One of the changes Carney Lansford has made with Stewart is to back him off the plate a little bit. Watch where he's, see where he placed that left foot, Jeff?
Yeah.
That was on the line last year.
Yeah, but he's kept it there. That's the good thing about this, because so many times last year we would see him raise his arms up like he just did on that previous pitch, where he would sit there and go like this. But if you're back away from the plate a little bit, now it frees you up. Those balls that are inside now are definitely balls.
Yeah, and it was pretty much, he was so much on top of the plate that if it didn't hit him, it was probably a strike.
Right, but it looks like it's going to hit you, so you raise up your arm, and then if they throw that hip side fastball, exactly, right there, George, that's still a strike.
And now he's right here.
Yeah.
So it makes a big, big difference for him when he's getting a pitch like this. And his arm's a long swing. He can get to the outside, do it. But when it's outside, one thing Carney wants, let's take it opposite field.
We'll go to the third. No score.
We are here at the top of the third inning. No score. I'm sitting here rocking out to Guns N' Roses in center field with Crazy Mary and Dirty Larry. That is what Mary, his wife, told me to say. They're from Brighton, Colorado, and we're going to play Predict the Outcome, guys. You have to predict what the first three batters in the top of this inning are going to do. So right now, the pitcher, Daniel Hudson, is at the plate. Your prediction, Dirty Larry?
A strikeout.
A strikeout. Okay, so he's going to strike out. We're going to see what happens with pitcher Daniel Hudson, guys.
What do you have, Frage?
I thought maybe she stumped him there for a minute. He does have 4 hits, though. He's hit the buck 28, 27 in his career. So I like your odds, Dirty Larry.
One and one. Well, he's a third
Again,
of the way
Dirty Larry
there.
from Brighton, guys, has predicted a strikeout by pitcher Daniel Hudson.
Is he buddies with Clint Eastwood?
He looks like it. I tell you what, though, the suspense is killing me. I'm not going to lie. You would think with a pitcher, a strikeout is a pretty good call.
Where's Larry looking? Larry, the ball game's down there.
Charlie is all up in his business.
You know what? He can't stand to watch. 3 and 1. All right, regroup here.
Yeah, yesterday some ugly things happened after starting pitcher yesterday walked.
You can look at the game. It's all right. You can watch and see what he does. Don't worry about this guy over here. You just need to focus and will a strikeout.
If he has to look at Charlie for that long, he's going to pass out. Ooh, that's a pretty good hack there by.
Got a full count here, Larry. You getting
Hudson.
nervous? No, he's not getting nervous with the full count, guys. It's a pitcher. Come on.
Here's Charlie. Sort of. We just see his camera.
Now your cameraman is on camera. How crazy is that? Larry just wanted to come and watch the game, and I am here bothering the heck out of him, guys.
Here we go.
He's keeping the at-bat alive, Larry.
Realized 2 strikes, though.
They're not going to take one away either. It's a beautiful thing. De La Rosa had to work with Hudson. 5th round pick a few years ago by the White Sox out of Old Dominion. Another 3-2. And fought off for a base hit to right.
All right, so he got a hit. That's okay. We still have 2 more batters. It's not over yet. All right, I'm going to ask you this time, Crazy Mary. Willie Bloomquist, shortstop for the Diamondbacks. He did get a single and a stolen base in the first inning. Your prediction?
He's going to have a hit.
He's going to get a hit. Well, that's not good. All right.
You know what? Listen, these folks seem like wonderful people. Lana, if Willie Bloomquist gets a hit, pick yourself up, take Charlie, and move to another
Get
couple.
Get out of here. You got it. If he gets a hit, I'm out of here. Forget about it. This is bad mojo.
This is not a hit. This could be 2. Not hit hard enough, so Bloomquist trades places with Hudson, 1 out.
All right, so he trades places with Hudson. There's still 1 out. Keep the man on first. It's good that you get rid of the guy on second. All right, so who we have? Justin Upton. No, Kelly Johnson, my fault. Kelly Johnson, second baseman. He struck out in the first inning. Your prediction on this one?
Strikeout again.
Strikeout again. He's going to go 0 for 2 in his first at-bats, guys.
See, I like Larry because he predicts bad things are going to happen.
I should just stick with him?
Yeah, and Mary's throwing out knocks all over the place.
Mary's giving the Diamondbacks knocks. That's not good.
But it's the way, it's using the persona to go the other way.
Okay.
Throw out the hit, and he get double play. See, I mean, you got to think that way.
Well, you may be onto something. Johnson did strike out on a 3-2 changeup his first time. Bloomquist a stolen base after singling in the first.
All right.
De La Rosa, guys, looks like he has his good stuff tonight.
He has a very good command of his fastball inner half, and he has good command of the changeup.
Haven't seen the curveball yet, George.
You know, I think he's a little reluctant after he hurt the finger. A year ago, he went to a lot of the sliders versus curveball.
George, you just mentioned the slider. That's what Larry wants him to throw.
He does?
He's calling for the slider. I'm just telling you.
Larry, call time right now.
George Frazier wants you to call time and have him take that back.
Won't work?
No. We're too far away. I think if I was behind home plate, it might work.
Maybe you ought to start taking signs out there. You know, 3 fingers is a slider. You could hold up a big 3 for Iannetta.
Hey, Chris.
Now, last time Bloomquist was at first base, remember one thing that he did. He got a very good jump and ended up stealing his second base of the series. So that it should be in the minds of De La Rosa and Iannetta.
So you saw Iannetta get the thumb from, or De La Rosa get the thumb from Iannetta to go and check out Bloomquist at first.
Tie him up, Larry says. He's freaking. He's stressed out over here, guys. It's too much pressure put on a fan that just came here to enjoy the ball game. Imagine managing. What if you were Jim Tracy? How hard would that be? Dirty Larry says he'd love it.
Well, if I'm Willie Bloomquist right now, guys, I'm taking off on this the next time he starts his movement. He's thrown over twice. The step off.
You pitch out. Well, called there.
No. I take it. Well, that's why he's.
He had to move. He had to move back to the bag.
Yeah, but
on the inside slider.
Okay, Larry, got it.
Frazier, we got to be careful. Larry's going to be doing the middle 3 soon.
The throw over.
I'd like to see that get sold a little bit better.
Hold it a little bit longer. Is that what you mean, George?
Well, from a catcher and pitcher's perspective, and the only reason I say that is sitting up here, and they see it in their dugout also, is if, like Iannetta just set up, and there really wasn't a lot of movement of his feet like there was there.
There he goes. Iannetta's throw. Not going to get him this time either. He's picking his pitches well. He's gone on 2 off-speed pitches, Huey.
Yeah, and the thing about it, let's not forget, Alan Trammell's their bench coach over there, and Kirk Gibson was a very good stealer of bases in his own right, and it's a perfect count to go on. It's 1-2. Even though the pitch was up, it still almost hit Kelly Johnson, so Chris had a little bit tough time with the transfer, and we could have run the play back in the first inning as we are here in the third, because it was identical with the slide and the tag.
3 straight innings now that a runner has reached second base for Arizona. 2-2 count on Kelly Johnson with 1 out. No score. We're in the top of the third. And now Iannetta will go out.
What would you tell him right now? What is Iannetta telling De La Rosa?
Throw a slider.
He's been saying that the entire inning. He really loves those sliders.
He likes sliders, doesn't he? Is he talking about those little cheeseburgers with fried in onions? Is that what he's wanting out there?
I think he and Mary had some sliders earlier for dinner. He's just really going for that.
Oh, boy. They may be changing signs. This is now the second time Bloomquist has been on second base.
I don't know if there's a burger slider. I mean, you know, the sign, put down a cheeseburger sign.
Here's the 2-2. There's the slider you wanted, and it's fouled off.
There's the slider you wanted, and yeah, he's happy. He also wanted me to tell Frazier that he has his card when Frazier was a twin. He said he had a really small little mustache.
Imagine that. Hard slider going away from him, hit off the end of the bat. I think that's what Jeff talked about earlier. Triggering the swing early to compensate to catch up to that fastball.
Inside. Time up.
So you want to tie him up and then throw it inside? Is that what he said?
That's what he's saying.
Come on.
Larry's no pitching coach, evidently. 2-2 again. And again, he went slider and it was fouled off.
None of these at-bats have been easy for you, have they, Larry?
No. Come on. Here we go. Come on.
Pulled toward Helton.
Nuts.
2 outs. And that'll bring up Justin Upton.
It's not a strikeout, but an out nonetheless. Thanks, guys. We appreciate it very much. You can now relax and enjoy the rest of the game without us being right here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
And a big go Rockies from Crazy Mary and Dirty Larry, guys. Back to you.
Not going to ask how they got their nicknames. We move along. Justin Upton comes up with 2 outs. Bloomquist at third. Upton swung at the first pitch. Got tied up, fouled out to Todd Helton in the first inning.
Now, as a pitcher, do you go back in there? Because as a hitter, I'm thinking, okay, I'm looking for that first pitch inside. They're going to try to tie me up again.
Let's look at his foot when we start this. And this is something that I think I would watch as a catcher to see if he's aware of this. And so we're gonna sit here and watch and see right here. Watch that foot right there and see if he opens it up quick to try to get to a ball on the inner half.
Well, that got away pretty far. Iannetta was chasing. De La Rosa obviously has to cover the plate. The winning run of the ball game scored yesterday on a wild pitch in the top of the 11th. Matt Lindstrom was on the hill. That got kicked actually by Iannetta.
Yeah, rolled up on the mask and it came back down. He was coming out to find the baseball and ended up shooting away from him. Earlier today, Marv Foley had Pagnazzi, who's still here, Matt Pagnazzi, and Morales in the outfield blocking balls for about 30 minutes.
Boy, that was you know what, that was dirty.
Well, maybe this changeup, this new split finger, is starting to become one of his big out pitches. Obviously showing it against Arizona in this ball game. A lot of pull. Your arm path, you want it to start coming through, and you're trying to pull from the catcher's eyes right through the center of his body into the dirt. So you make sure you have that extension and tumble on the baseball to get it down in the strike zone.
2 balls and a strike. De La Rosa has thrown 51 darts so far, and it's a 2-to-1 ratio, George, which you really like to see from anybody, especially Jorge. 34 pitches in the zone, 17 out of the zone. And again, Iannetta does a good job. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, last year, the average pitches thrown per plate appearance in the National League was 3.83. So as a pitcher, I mean, you can do the arithmetic. You keep your minimal at bats around the 4 or 5 range. You got a pretty good chance of working deep into a ball game. It's when it explodes up into above the 20 pitch count per inning, you shorten your time out on the mound pretty quickly.
Two, got him. Great pitch by De La Rosa. Again, it's the changeup. And again, the Diamondbacks leave a runner in scoring position. We go to the bottom of the 3rd. No score at Coors Field. On Rockies tickets today by going to wellsfargo.com/Rockies. See a Wells Fargo banker today for details. If it's too late today, see him tomorrow. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Hewson down, not eating.
I wish.
I know. But Alana Rizzo also.
You know what?
Alana.
Those people are just about 10 feet from me, Drew.
Are they?
Yeah, I might ask them if I could have a little bit.
Never been a cotton candy guy. Chris Iannetta at the plate. 1-1. Good day yesterday for Chris.
See, right there. They're eating right there.
Well, ask him for it. Quit pointing at him.
No, I don't want to interrupt him. He's enjoying that too much.
Tell him wait till he gets a hot dog and a burger or something.
Iannetta yesterday, 1 for 3 and a pair of walks. He wants to turn those numbers around. I thought he went. He did. Check it with first base umpire Marty Foster. 2-2.
The more I watch Daniel Hudson, I'm watching to see. You want to try to compare. Yeah, he went around. Try to compare guys in the way they throw the baseball and what they do. Good base hit. Right back up the middle. That he looks a little bit to me like Brandon Webb almost. A little bit of the long arm, same type of body.
Well, the Rockies, as you all know, lost yesterday in 11 innings, 7-6. And maybe the biggest story of the day, other than the loss, was that Ubaldo Jimenez gave up 5 runs in the ballgame, 5 earned. He gave up 6 overall, a couple of home runs, which you almost never see, just once last year. But within that story was the fact that his velocity was down basically 5 to 7 miles an hour. And there was a reason behind it, and it plagued him during spring training, fellas. He has a cut on the inside part of his thumb, George, and you can describe it where the baseball sits on it when he's throwing.
Well, it constantly pulls. I mean, think about it. It may only feel like a needle sticking you or a nail or something like that. But if every time you throw it, you feel that stick, obviously you have a little pullback reaction to it. And, I mean, they want this to be healed before that next starter. I would be a bit surprised if he's passed over.
Yeah, I mean, he's scheduled to go Thursday when the Rockies open that series against the Pirates, actually the home opener for Pittsburgh. But Jim Tracy was saying before the ball game, he does not want to run him out there until he's 100% healthy, because for 2 reasons. He doesn't want to see him go through what he went through yesterday, where he clearly was having trouble handling the baseball. And secondly, you don't want to overcompensate, George, subconsciously and then injure yourself.
Well, the biggest key to all this, when I talked to Jim Tracy today, was it's April. You don't want this thing lingering in the middle of May. So just give it that extra 5 or 6 days, and with an off day on Monday, everybody's going to be rested enough to handle the workload.
It's Brian Jordan, the strength coach. Usually the trainers fix gloves. I guess Brian's adept at doing that. Bunt miss, 2-1.
De La Rosa last year had 3 sacrifices the entire year. The year before, very good, 12. In the 3 previous years. So as much as he starts and as many at-bats as he gets, maybe an area to improve on with just 3 a year ago.
Pulls it back and misses. Good job by Jorge.
Well, I like the way he's presetting it early to get that angle created before the pitch is delivered, and then it's easier to pull back instead of trying to punch at it.
Three and one. Iannetta.
He was double checking.
And he wants to make sure it's still on. He needs to get a good jump. That was in there, 3-2. Look on the Ford strike zone.
Let's strike. What do you think? Do you think it was a strike? I'm not sure. You know what? If he would have just called it the other way, I'm a little disappointed in what went on. How about you? You know what? I'm watching the game. Leave me alone.
How about that?
Quit bugging me, all right?
He's into it.
Yeah, he is. He went after it. So De La Rosa's gone on the strikeout. Who wants tacos? Fans, you know the deal. Remember, if the Rockies score 7 or more during any ball game, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locales the next day between 4 and 6. Get your Rockies Taco Special. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. 1 out. Iannetta at first. Dexter Fowler coming up. Dex walked in the bottom of the first inning. There's Chuck Niffen.
Chuck,
Hey,
did you ever answer your cell phone, Chuck? We've been trying to say hi to you for like an hour.
Chuck's like bird watching. This ball is hit pretty well to left. Is it going to get over Parra's head? You bet it will. And then it short hops the fence, which is a break. Here comes Iannetta to the plate. The throw is offline. It's a run-scoring double for Dexter Fowler to the opposite field. 1-0 Rockies.
A little bit surprised here. I mean, Terry, Cheetah's saying the fan. I thought maybe a fan might have knocked that back into the ballpark, but Tim Cheetah, third base umpire, emphatically said no.
Ryan Roberts is arguing big time with him over at third base.
Here comes Gibson out of the dugout. Well, that's the shortest conversation in the history of baseball between a manager and an umpire.
You'll get a good look at it right now. Watch when this ball hits the dirt surface, shoots up, and hits right on the bottom of the fence. And it appears to the naked eye the fan probably did touch that baseball with a glove. They both got up, but the gloves never made contact with the baseball.
Good call by Tim Cheetah. 1-0 Colorado. Seth Smith with Fowler at second base. Boy, Huey, he hit that ball a long way the opposite way.
He really stayed through that baseball and hit it right on the screws. And from down here, you could tell immediately, and Chris knew it at first base because of that sound. He knew it was getting over his head.
And guess who's in the ballpark today? John and Trudy Fowler. Mom and Dad made their way from the Atlanta area. Well, that's the sound you want to hear.
Two-seam sinking fastball.
And that catches the inside part of the plate. 0-2 on Smith, who popped to left his first time. 1 out. Cargo on deck.
I'm going to keep Dexter close at second. I know that there's a lefty up, but Ryan Roberts is playing off the bag far at third.
You get in one of these counts, 0-2, 1-2. From your perspective, was it always you have to sit fastball, adjust off speed, right?
Definitely. You can't sit with a guy that throws 92 to 94, 95 mile an hour. You can't sit on the changeup, because then if he throws that fastball away, you have no chance. At least if you're thinking fastball, changeup, you could still wrist one out and get a base hit.
See, the kid on the right is a lefty, George.
How do you know that?
Because the hat's a little off center. Outside. Huey, am I right? You see that?
All lefties wear them.
Yeah,
crooked.
well, that young man, he had the hat a little off center. Southpaw.
But see, it's pulled to the right hand.
Yeah.
So it just means he's a part-time right-hander. If it's going the other way, see, it'd be a full-fledged lefty.
What's the pick?
How come you didn't yell back or something? You're saying watch the pick. You hear the words back. Well, when you hear that words back as a base runner, typically that's your first or third base coach. But when you're out at second, more your third base coach. Quick spin, turn, make sure you find your target as a pitcher with 1 out. The last thing you want to do is fire this thing into center field and have Dexter standing at third or even score.
Hudson strikes out Smith. That's the second out. It's his second strikeout, and that'll bring up Carlos Gonzalez, who smoked a single on the first pitch he saw to right center field back in the first inning. Request high-speed pitch. Hudson has touched 95. De La Rosa has hit 96. Brought to you by the fast, reliable, secure, heavy-duty internet from Quest. Rockies leading 1-0. Dexter Fowler at second base. Dialed up 95 right there.
See, I'm looking at their defense right now. And you look at second and first and how far they're swung over, talking about Johnson and Nady. So to me, what it tells me, we're going to go hard in, soft away. Try to get him to pull the ball to the right side, and hopefully it'll be at one of us.
That's up 2-0. He went hard in, George, and soft away. Just missed the zone twice.
Yep. And right now, with again, pick your poison. But the way he's swinging it versus Troy Tulowitzki, in his mind, he may, hey, you know what, I'll throw you some changeups off the plate. I'll throw you some fastballs in. If you swing, you swing. And take his chances with Troy Tulowitzki.
That's what it looks like, 3-0.
That's the message he's sending to me right now. That first fastball was in well off the plate. The changeup was high and away, and then this last off the plate also. Another changeup.
I just saw Miguel Montero tell Hudson, be careful, it's 3-0. He might be swinging. Don't just lay a cookie in there.
I really don't think there's a big question mark about whether he'd be swinging.
But you know how you have to remind guys what different situations. You don't see that 3-0 swing very often.
Three and one. And not even close. So that'll bring up Troy with 2 on and 2 outs. Looking for his first knock of 2011. Putting him at first base.
Somebody taught this young man how to keep score. Good thing to be doing at the ballpark. Be amazed how many big leaguers don't know how to do it.
Is that right?
Absolutely. They were working a game with George Brett for Fox Network one time. So you gonna keep score? He said, don't know how. Plain and simple.
Kind of easy when he got up. You put him at second base. Double, homer, single. Fowler at second, Cargo at first. Tulowitzki at the plate.
See, when changeup early, first hit bat, fouled it off. Fastball away, the count was 1-1. He came back with the changeup again. He started him out with the changeup. Down in the zone a little bit. Tulowitzki said it's very difficult to see, and a lot more than that taking pictures in this park when this guy comes to the plate.
And that catches the outside corner. Back-to-back changeups.
One of the reasons this kid has success, 8 of 13 pitches now. First pitch strikes in this ball game. I thought that was a little high, but it does catch the strike zone in the forward strike zone. Here it is. You see the really big rotation to the inside of the ball, creating the movement.
And he went changeup again away. It is 1-2. Tulowitzki last year hit .306 in the first half with 9 home runs in 235 at bats. In the second half, in 235 at bats, hit .323 with 18 home runs. 15, of course, came in the month of September when he drove in 40. 1-2. 2-2.
See, trying to pick now, hoping that Tulowitzki's going to be aggressive, maybe go after a pitch out of the zone. That hasn't been the case. Man, oh man, look at those numbers in that second half.
Think about what the numbers would have been had he not missed more than a month.
40 home runs.
Could have been. 2-2. And a ground ball to short. Rockies get a run in the inning. Iannetta leadoff single brought around on a Dexter Fowler double. 1-0 Colorado. Has scored the Rockies' first run of the evening. Yesterday, he had a good day and a physical day at the plate. It's time for the Home Depot doing more on defense, and this is just part of the job. Ground ball with the infield in. Here comes 230-pound Justin Upton. And Iannetta absorbed the blow, held on to the baseball, and he applauded Upton's play afterward, as well he should. I mean, it's a clean play by Upton. It's a good baseball play. And it's a very good baseball play by Iannetta, hanging in there. Those are two big men crashing into each other.
Well, you know what I thought was really good by Iannetta was even though when he caught the ball, he blocked the plate, yet rolled into and away. I mean, it sounds funny, but to roll away from him on the tag. But it's a very nice job, something you just don't go out and practice.
I'll tell you who was great at doing that. You guys know this, Mike Scioscia.
The first guy I ever saw do it, too, that really good was Ted Simmons. Now a special assistant with the Arizona Diamondbacks, or excuse me, Seattle Mariners.
Chris Young takes ball one. Cleanup hitter for Arizona. Hit a fly ball to center field his first time. I was talking to Marv Foley, who's the Rockies catching instructor today, and Marv caught in the big leagues. I said, all right, worst collision you ever had? And he said, I was in the minor leagues. I was in Double-A ball. He goes, a guy came in and hit me so hard. He said, my mask went here. The baseball went there. I ended up about 20 feet from home plate, knocked out cold. They're giving me smelling salts. He said, I didn't miss a pitch, though.
Scioscia got so low. I just remember when he would catch it, he would be, it seemed like he was about 2 feet off the ground, ready for that collision.
Well, a lot of times he blocked and then caught the ball. That's what made him so good at it. He was able to time that so well.
He's a good changeup. 2 balls, 2 strikes on Chris Young.
There's that changeup again. I mean, it's been kind of a 2-pitch mix tonight for Jorge De La Rosa. There it is, outside corner, well out on front side of his body. Talking about Chris Young. No solid contact made there.
And then the heater. He gassed him at 94. Boy, what a sequence, Jeff.
Well, you go change up and you get out in front of Chris Young, and then Jorge has that delivery and the little pause right there before he gasses it. Hey, Chris Young, that goes back to the point you made last half inning, Drew, where are you sitting on a changeup? Well, you can't do that with the guy that throws as hard as De La Rosa or Hudson, because that's the type of swings you'll get.
1 out, Ryan Roberts at the plate. And he takes strike 1. Tonight, the 117th start of Jorge De La Rosa's career, native of Monterrey, Mexico. And he was originally signed back in '98 by the Diamondbacks, and then he played professionally in Mexico after that. Was still property of the Diamondbacks, and was traded, as this is on the ground to third. He was traded to Boston. He was part of the Curt Schilling deal.
Ryan Roberts, originally drafted by the Blue Jays in 2003, minor league deal with the Diamondbacks, and worked his way to the big leagues.
De La Rosa ended up back with Arizona briefly. Actually, he was traded to Boston, I should say, and then he was part of the Schilling deal when Boston acquired Curt Schilling. And that deal was in November of '03. The next month, the Diamondbacks sent De La Rosa and several others to Milwaukee as part of the Richie Sexson deal. Remember when they were looking for a big power bat in the middle of their lineup? That's a strike. 0-2 now on Montero, who singled his first time. Time for our AT&T trivia question. Who were the 4 National League players with 20-plus home runs and 20-plus stolen bases last year? 0-2 on Montero. Iannetta sets up away, and the slider misses. Dirty Larry'd be happy, George. 2-2. Went back to it. De La Rosa eventually got to the Rockies from the Kansas City Royals in the Ramon Ramirez deal.
Well, got two guys that, quite honestly, worn out their welcome. Kansas City and Ramon here in Colorado. And Ramon wasn't going to make the ball club. He wasn't going to make the Kansas City ball club.
Strong inning, 2 punch-outs, a 1-2-3 frame for De La Rosa. Rockies lead it 1-0. Helton to lead things off at the bottom half of the inning. Time for our Cooney Lexus look back on this one so far. Jorge De La Rosa has been splendid. He has made big pitches when he's had to. And the Rockies got a run last inning off the tough Daniel Hudson. An opposite field double from Dexter Fowler brought around Chris Iannetta, who began the inning with a single. Cooney Lexus look back, brought to you by Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. South Broadway in Littleton. Todd Helton at the plate, and Todd a quality swing there. It's 1 ball and 1 strike. Todd popped to short his first time. Yesterday, Helton played his 200th career game against Arizona. And you're around for a while when you've played almost a season and a quarter against one team.
It was brought into the league in 1998.
Yeah. And this is shallow left. Parra coming on will make the catch.
Jeff has the wind there now. At the start of the game, it was 18 to 25 miles an hour.
You know, right now, there's not a whole lot going on down here. You don't really feel the swirl that we had early on. The flags, it's just a little bit going out to right. But down here right now, it's really calm and just feels pretty nice. I think what you're going to see a little bit, and I thought I might see it on that last ball, is it's kind of that dusk time. And so the outfielders, if the ball gets up to a certain height, might end up losing it.
Jose Lopez takes a slider for a strike. Oh, 2.
Well, make sure you book a suite or a party facility in April or May and receive, how about this, 20 free tickets to another Rockies game. Why not? Pick up the phone, 303-312-2444. or go to ColoradoRockies.com, look on the website, and get some more information concerning this.
Lopez originally came up as a shortstop. He's played primarily second and third in the big leagues, and that'll find a hole on the right side. Pretty good job with 2 strikes again, Jeff, because you think back to his first AB, on an 0-2 pitch, he hit the ball to the track and right.
Well, I think that's part of what Carney Lansford is trying to get back with Jose Lopez. Don't be a one-dimensional left field pole hitter type guy. When you get down in the count, sometimes you do the best you can. Put the ball in play, good things are going to happen. Very short swing. The ball beats him a little bit. And what I mean by beats him and the way he gets it and where he hits it is more towards his back foot. I mean, we'll see where the contact is. It's almost parallel with his knee there, his back right knee, but he's able to stay through it and hit a ground ball base hit.
Stewart shortened up. He didn't offer it that. It gets away, so Lopez moves to scoring position. When I say he didn't offer it, he didn't make contact with it, I should say. So it is either a pass ball or a wild pitch. Rockies have Lopez at second base.
Well, I really missed the location, but that ball's got to be caught. I mean, that's off the thumb, hit the shin guard, and then ricocheted away. With 1 out, I think it caught a bunch of people by surprise. Stewart would be doing that.
Pass ball on Miguel Montero. Run on 4 hits for the Rockies, no runs, 3 hits for Arizona. Rockies hitting in the 4th. Just to finish the thought, we were talking about Lopez as Rockies fans get to know this guy. He put up some big numbers in Seattle in a pitcher's ballpark. But when you look at his numbers, one thing jumps out at you. He doesn't walk much. He doesn't strike out much.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't strike out much at all. Now, the one thing he's not going to do, he's not going to be a barn burner on the base paths. And that's where you use your experience as a very good major league base runner. Make your cuts right around the bag, shorten the distances, get a better break on balls in the dirt.
Here's the 2-1. And Stewart was out front. You know, these two guys, Frazier, have been mirror images. They're talking about Hudson and De La Rosa. It's been fastball changeup primarily for both of them.
Yeah, and it's been very good, too, because I think with Hudson and De La Rosa, they varied the speed off of the changeup. It hasn't just been one speed. 2 types of changes. A circle change, and then to back it up, the split finger from De La Rosa.
Hey, Jeff, very quickly. 2 pitches in this sequence with 2 strikes. Inside fastballs, and we talked about he's moved off the plate. A year ago, he's punched out on those.
Well, exactly. But think about Arizona. They're going back to last year's scouting report,
exactly.
So they're trying to get him there.
Yep, exactly. That's pulled foul. That was my point, in that the book on him was get ahead and then 2-seam him in. And Hudson's tried that 3 times in 2 at-bats, and all 3 times Stewart didn't fire, but they were in.
Well, even that last pitch he fouled off was in a little bit, but he was still able to just foul it off and live for another pitch.
Well, the other side of that, Arizona, even though they share a facility with the Rockies, Stewart didn't play a lot of baseball because of the injury in spring training. Hit .241 a year ago with runners in scoring position. Came up empty-handed here on a nasty pitch from Daniel Hudson.
Got him on a changeup. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Last year, 4 players in the National League hit 20-plus bombs and also stole 20-plus bases. 2 are in the ballpark. Carlos Gonzalez, 34 and 26, respectively. Chris Young, 27 and 28. Drew Stubbs of Cincinnati. And the extremely talented Hanley Ramirez down in South Florida. There's Cargo. Today he's got a single and a walk. 1-0 on Ionetta, who hit a bullet up the middle last inning.
What was nice about that base hit, Drew, is after looking, I don't want to say silly, but out in front on the pitch before, but then the next time he stayed through it.
This ball's driven to right, and it is a fair ball. They elect to pitch to Iannetta with first base open, and he burns it with an RBI double as Lopez scores. 2-0 Colorado. You want to talk about coming out of the gate hot? That's Chris Iannetta. He's really, Jeff, picked up where he left off the latter part of March.
Well, and a lot of people, it's said about Chris Iannetta, well, he's getting this opportunity. There's a lot of pressure on this young man, and he's coming out of the gate right now with 2 base hits tonight, double RBI. But once again, staying through the ball. I can't count on one hand how many balls that Chris hit to right field like that last year. You can see the exuberance on him with the hand clap just because he understands the microscope.
Listen, you love RBI doubles anytime. You especially love them with 2 outs.
Well, and the pitcher then hitting behind you so you can at least flip the lineup over.
One on De La Rosa.
Well, one thing that they're doing defensively, too, is they're taking a book out of Jimmy Leyland's page. Allow Iannetta to get as big a lead as he wants, but hold your position with the pitcher up and get the 3rd out and get out of this inning. Don't concern yourself with what Iannetta's doing.
Rockies have extended the pitch count a little bit on Hudson, who's been very good. And he's approaching the mid-70s here in 4 innings. What do we got going on there? Everybody's happy somebody caught a baseball. See, evidently somebody caught the foul ball and he was headed for our vendor there. Gotta protect your vendor. No spillage either, George.
Well, I'm not sure he protected him. I think it was kind of self-defense, and the vendor's like, here, have a free drink on me, bud. Thanks.
De La Rosa. It's not the prettiest swing, Huey, we've ever seen, but it's working.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just keep fouling them off, and hopefully one time you'll get your timing right and catch up to it.
He keeps fouling them off over that free drink area too, wherever that guy's at over there.
He's gonna have to put a hard hat on. 2-0 Colorado. And that's a base hit. Here comes Iannetta. Upton's throw to the plate is on line, but it's not handled by Montero. 3-0 Colorado. It was a perfect throw to the plate. Montero didn't handle it. And Jorge De La Rosa, of all people, have driven in a run.
Yeah, how about this? 14th career RBI. Those guys are all pumped up with the cast and all. Purple with black colors on that cast. He's excited with his result. Here comes the pitch in, and ball down in the zone. A changeup after not catching up to fastballs. Can't understand the pitch selection. Slow it down to the bat after all those fouled balls, and then, man, just a laser shot by Upton. And then Montero not able to hang on to the baseball. That allowed Iannetta to score in the dugout. All the pitchers, Ismael Rogers pumped for a fellow pitcher to get an RBI and a base hit.
I've never understood that, George. A guy fouls off your fastball over the other dugout, and then you throw the changeup.
Tough game to figure out sometimes.
Dex rolls this one foul, 1-1. And the other thing it does, fellas, that we alluded to a moment ago, by the time Hudson gets to the dugout, he's going to be well above 80 pitches.
Well, more importantly, he's coming out for the 5th inning, and all of a sudden you get into that heart of the lineup, too. Versus having De La Rosa lead it off. You know, now all of a sudden you're stuck with, depending on what Dexter does and continues this inning, now all of a sudden you're stuck with Smith, Gonzalez, Tulowitzki, Helton, too.
Well, the other thing, too, though, he's due up 3rd next inning. So as a manager, what do you do?
Hey, I'm going to let him hit because it's the 5th inning. Unless they feel like down in their bullpen, there's something a little bit better than what he's got going right now.
In the inning, the Rockies get a pair of runs with 2 outs. An Iannetta double, and then a De La Rosa single. 3-0.
Fifth inning, and you know what? We do such a good job of showing all of the great parks around the country when we follow the team on the road. And you know what? We want to do that here too at Coors Field. I'm over here in center field in the Camarena Tequila Loft. It's really Camarena if you want to say it correctly. And this used to be all dead space in center field, guys. And let me tell you what they've done. They've taken out, this used to be 3 rows of seats right over here, but they've made it an area that fans are really enjoying, a great seating area. And then you come up here to the bar, as I mentioned, the Camarena Tequila Loft, where they have another great expansive area for fans to come and have this bar area over here that wasn't here before. A lot of nice flat screen, great TVs, obviously every single tequila you can imagine. And then over to the right of the bar, they have Kickin' Nachos, and this is one of Dick Montfort's favorite places. It's authentic nachos, real cheese, guys, none of that processed stuff. A really fun atmosphere, and again, in a place that used to be dead space. If you get an opportunity when you're here as a fan, come over and check out the Camarena Tequila Loft. I promise you'll have a good time, guys.
That looks like a great place to visit. Brian Roberts at the plate, pops this up left side. Or excuse me, Xavier Nady, I should say. 1 out.
Well, now all of a sudden De La Rosa's settling in. That's 3 of the 5 leadoff men. The National League average about 69%, so he's at 60 on the career season last year. He retired the leadoff man 68% of the time, right at the National League average.
Gerardo Parra, fly ball to Dexter Fowler in center, his first time. 1 out. Top of 5. Coming up in the top of the 6th inning, Toyota Talk. Text Toyota followed by a space, and then your thoughts on the 2011 Rockies to 720-720. Toyota Talk.
5 ground ball outs, 4 fly ball outs, and 4 strikeouts. So if you'd like to get on the Toyota Talk and text us what you think of De La Rosa's outing today.
And that's too tall, so it's 3-0, though according to the Ford strike zone, he should be in the dugout, George.
Well, you got to get one more out. You're talking about, oh, I understand. You're talking about Parra should be in the dugout.
Yeah, Parra let 3 borderline pitches go by. I see the Ford strike zone. That's
same place, right?
It matched up pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah.
Just saying that I wasn't looking at the Ford strike zone. I was looking at the strike zone from my angle. Looked pretty good.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Our best wishes to Matt Holliday. He had to have an appendectomy yesterday. Matt's going to be out for a little bit after a great opening day for Holliday with 3 hits, including a home run. Wasn't feeling well when he left the clubhouse. Ended up in the hospital and had an appendectomy. Here's the 3-2.
I talked to his uncle, Dave Holliday, who works for the Rockies. He's a special assistant to Dan O'Dowd, and he told Dave that he hadn't felt well for about the last week. It had been a very tough time to get along, couldn't stand up, wasn't comfortable with it, so they, with the hospital, had it checked out. Feel like he'll be back within 7 to 10 days.
You know, I was talking to Troy Tulowitzki, who remains very close friends with Matt before the ball game. And Troy, a lot of people don't realize this, in off season a couple of years ago was feeling flu-like symptoms and then abdominal pains. And he was in and out of the hospital once before they diagnosed it properly. He had his appendix out, and he said, "No, this was the off season." He said, "But I didn't work out for about 3 weeks." Now, in season, you try to, move it along. In fact, Andres Torres with the Giants last year had an appendectomy during the season and played 11 days later.
Yeah, it depends on how good a shape you are in the stomach muscles, how far they've got to separate some things to get it repaired.
I just think Matt, as much torque as he puts on that torso, might be a little bit different than Torres.
Hudson at the plate takes a strike. Remember in the 07 during the climb to the World Series, it was late in the season during the great run the Rockies had the final 15 days. Jeff, remember there was a mild oblique strain for Matt and he had to miss a ball game or two?
Yep. And most guys, it would have been a week type of thing, but Matt understood the importance of himself in the lineup and felt he could do it.
Well, there's no question what kind of shape he's in.
Well, I thought he needed to work out a little bit. Say that jokingly, folks.
They haven't put him on the DL yet, have they?
No, they haven't. They're holding off. And Hudson fouls it off. It's 1-2.
Well, there was a little bit of confrontation after this walk by Parra. As he was going down to first base, he yells a little something at Jorge, takes off that little shin guard that he has down on his foot there, slams it down, and then Jorge looked back at him and he said something. And what ended up happening then is Marty Foster at first and Jeff Nelson behind the plate had to come out and tell each other, the guys, to basically settle down and be quiet.
What could that be about?
I have
no idea. Unless there's some history back. It could be one of the best fights I ever saw was in a clubhouse with Ted Simmons, and former player and teammate of his. I mean, the umpire's coming out right now. Hey, tell his point now, tell him knock it off. Bernie Carbo and Ted Simmons, Wrigley Field, visiting clubhouse. It was something that had happened in her rookie year about 10 years earlier. It was crazy. Oh, you haven't really saw a lot of John out of their dugout, have you, Jeff? Have
No,
you been
not
able to
at
hear
all.
anything over there, maybe?
No, there's nothing being yelled at, and I really didn't see anything previous to that, other than what Jorge thought that there was a couple of pitches that should have been strikes that were called balls. But I just think it's a little bit of the influence of Kirk Gibson.
2-2, swung on and missed. So De La Rosa with his 5th strikeout gets Hudson. And with 2 outs, Willie Bloomquist in the top of the order. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. George Herman Ruth, baseball was, is, and always will be, to me, the best game in the world. To many others as well. Our Geico quote of the day. Bloomquist a single, and he reached on a fielder's choice. He's got a couple of stolen bases in the ball game. Rockies leading 3-0. Talk about the new attitude that Kirk Gibson brought last year when he took over for A.J. Hinch, and this is his first spring training running the club. Tell you one thing he eliminated, they got him picked off. Yeah, Todd couldn't get the ball out of his glove, so it'll be a stolen base for Parra.
Everything was right except for the transfer by Todd. They get it, he closes ground a little bit, and then that little extra hesitation allowed Parra to slide in and tag at Troy.
Yeah, it seemed like maybe De La Rosa, did he get the ball late to Helton? Because when you could stop when Todd got it and you looked up, I mean, Parra was more than halfway there almost.
Just a little bit. He didn't speed it up, and that's why Todd did what he did, because he understood I've got to try to catch up for that. And when you do, that's when you get the fumble.
Shattered bat deep in the hole, cut off by Stewart. Nicely done. There you see the great range of Ian Stewart. 3-0 Colorado, middle of 5. Hungry? All on Root Sports is brought to you by Dunkin' Donuts. America runs on Dunkin'. By your neighborhood Toyota stores. Toyota moving forward. By Jack in the Box. Right now, get the All-American Jack combo for only $4.99 plus tax. And by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. Seth Smith rolls one foul. Rockies up 3-0. Drew Goodman, George Frazier, Jeff Houston, Alana Rizzo. Crowd of better than 40,000 it looks like tonight at Coors Field after a sellout yesterday. Down low, 1-1. Well, I was talking about Kirk Gibson, and anybody who remembers him playing realizes he played baseball with a football mentality, and he was a great football player at Michigan State. One of the first things he did when he took over the clubhouse of the Diamondbacks, and this may catch some fans by surprise, but you know, the players spend a lot of time in the clubhouse, and they have some downtime before they're on the field, that sort of thing. And there were guys who bring in motorized cars and even motorized little toy planes, if you will, into the clubhouse. And he said, we're going to have none of that. He said, if you want to do that on your own time before you come to the clubhouse. And he eliminated any of that stuff. There were, you know, toy guns, guys doing little, you know, in the clubhouse target practice. I
agree with him more.
I agree with it, but you know, that's Gibson's mentality. It's about baseball when you come to the yard, and he's tightened things up with Arizona, and some of the veteran players have applauded that. And, you know, initially, you know, some guys may have thought, hey, what's going on here? But this guy has a track record of winning. 3-2. And it's popped up on the infield. Again, it's the changeup. 1 out.
Don't forget that A.J. Hinch was the manager before, and he was much younger and kind of the new school where he tried to be friends with them.
Well, I think part of that, Jeff, was he raised a lot of those.
Well, you want to know what? You want to talk about tough guys, you got to have a hockey player. You know who that is? That's Charlie Simmer. Now, Charlie's in town. He used to do he just did the Coyotes forever as an analyst, but he was a tremendous goal scorer for the LA Kings. In fact, he was an all-star in the 80s, 81 and 84. He's part of that Kings Triple Crown line, Frazier. I know you remember it well.
Absolutely.
Marcel Dion, Dave Taylor, and Charlie Simmer. He had 56 goals in a couple of different seasons.
He blew out his knee, didn't he? I think that's what it.
Is that what ended the career?
Yeah, that's what ended the career.
Actually, Charlie, this ball is bounced by Cargo to second. First time they're going to get him out tonight. Charlie, anybody who plays hockey is a tough guy. Charlie wasn't a drop your gloves guy. 2 outs. Tulowitzki at the plate.
But his nose is too straight.
And it looked like he had all his teeth, right?
Yeah. No bridges.
That's inside on Troy. It's first time. That may be his first at bat this year where he was 0-1, right?
I was thinking the same exact thing, Drew. It seems like every time Troy might have well starting in the box going 0-1 or 0-2.
And this one's popped up and may be playable. It will be in foul ground. Nady makes the catch. A 1-2-3 fifth for Hudson. 3-0 Colorado. Coming back, it's Toyota Talk. It's 3-0 as we go to the top of the 6th inning. A reminder, tomorrow after the ball game is Rockies Weekly with that man, Jim Tracy. And every week we get an opportunity to visit with Trace, talk about a myriad of subjects. Tomorrow will be no different. Make sure that you join us right after the ball game for Rockies Weekly with the skipper, Jim Tracy. Two, 3, and 4 for the Diamondbacks in the 6th inning. Kelly Johnson, Justin Upton, and Chris Young will get their 3rd look at Jorge De La Rosa, who's been terrific. It's our Toyota Talk inning, so you can text in your thoughts and comments and questions. I hope they go to the World Series this year. That would be a thrill, and you know every guy that puts on that uniform, George, that's their singular goal.
Well, it should be. I mean, there's some clubs you walk into, and you walk into that locker room. I know the 84 Indians, I was like, no chance. I mean, you know, this ain't happening. But this is one of those that it's a huge opportunity to get to the later part of October and early November and to win a world championship. It is in place.
See, that guy's texting his way onto the air. That pitch misses. It's 2-0. Can you text any faster, please? Come on.
Well, I'd agree with you. I think the big thing about De La Rosa tonight, he is on his A game, and it's one of those things that he's been a two-pitch mix.
Well, he didn't give in. Kelly Johnson, he showed the slider on 2-0. Hey, this person said, love seeing the purple home jerseys again. Let's see them more. You will see them more. It was the first time since the 07 season, when the Rockies wore them yesterday, that they've been broken out.
A starting pitcher has that choice of what to wear, and Ubaldo went to Keith Schultz, the equipment manager of the Rockies, and said, I'd like to wear purple jerseys home on the home open.
Ian Stewart fan. Let's hope he's going to have a big year. 2-2. And Johnson rolls one to second. Lopez to help one out. That'll bring to the plate Justin Upton.
Pitch count sitting at 86 now for De La Rosa, and Matt Belisle's up. So, in other words, bring him in to finish up the 6th if you want to. Now, they may use him in the 7th, or they could go to Paulino in the 7th, and then Betancourt in the 8th, and Street in the 9th.
The person was just mentioning the personnel decisions, and kudos to Dan O'Dowd and his staff, because this is, by and large, a homegrown club. And Dan has picked his spots through free agency and through some trades to fill out what is an outstanding roster. What's going on now? All of a sudden, Keith Duggar on his way to the mound with Jim Tracy.
Well, I noticed something in the last inning with De La Rosa. He started to kind of mess around with the finger a little bit. And I think it's either fingernail, the dryness of coming into altitude. Yesterday at Betty Menez, maybe it's getting a little bit on De La Rosa. And I go all the way back to John Thompson, who had to have a fingernail removed because they could never get it to heal underneath on his pitching hand on the middle finger. Let's hope this is not becoming a consistent thing. So maybe that's obvious why you saw Belisle up. Jim Tracy always errs on the caution side of things. So we'll be surprised if he didn't go to his bullpen.
You know, the number that Jim Tracy kept seeing every time he closed his eyes and put his head on a pillow last year, and that will be all, was 833. That represented the number of games missed by Rockies players last year due to injury. And now De La Rosa, who's been throwing an absolute gem, has to leave after 5 1/3 shutout innings because of some sort of blister perhaps on his finger. And as we mentioned earlier, Ubaldo Jimenez was affected by a cut that keeps reoccurring because of the dryness in the air, and his next start is in jeopardy. That's your number 1 starter. Now your number 2 starter has an issue with his finger.
It looks like from here and what you can see there that it is more of a blister type, not the tendon issue that he dealt with last year.
Well, it could be too from a lot of split fingers, because you're riding that middle finger right on the baseball, and it get a hold of those grips and you start pulling, you can start rubbing things and pushing a little bit maybe the wrong way. All hypothetical type of situations for him, but nonetheless he's gone. Belisle will come in. He'll have as long as he needs to get ready in preparation to face Mr. Young, or excuse me, Mr. Upton.
So no runs, 3 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. A terrific performance by De La Rosa. And now you're concerned about whatever the issue is on his finger.
Well, let's go back and look at a pitch on De La Rosa where he kind of gives you an indication of what's going on. Here's the split finger coming out. Really see the fingers outside those. Right here, you can see him right outside the baseball. A lot of circles there. Outside the baseball. And what happens when you come through, you're going to try to pull directly all your force through the catcher's center of the body and really pull out front. Well, the ball's spinning out of your fingers, and it's pulling a drag against that inside. And that's probably where you created some things and some discomfort. But right on the very end of that thing, man, it just doesn't look very good right there. You can see it. It's just uncomfortable on the middle finger there. Obviously, Belisle will come on. He'll face Justin Upton.
Which you obviously hope that it has nothing to do with that tendon issue from last year.
I don't think so. I think more of a blister when they started to look at it.
Well, George, do you think that could be coming up here to all the dry air.
Yeah, Drew and I were talking about that just a second ago about, it's gotten a couple of guys. Obviously, I think it does. There was another pitcher. John Thompson was the one guy I thought of, but there was another one a couple of years ago that battled the same issue.
Here's the 1-0, and that is low. 2-0 as Belisle inherited, obviously, the 1-0 count on Justin Upton. Upton foul out and a strikeout against De La Rosa. So again, the bullpen's going to have to eat up some innings here on the first 2 days of the season. And I point something out. Jim Tracy was asked about this throughout spring training, the battle for the number 5 starter spot. Esmil Rogers was involved. Greg Reynolds was involved, at least initially. Felipe Paulino was involved until they moved him to the bullpen. John Maine was in the conversation. John needs a few more starts to return to full strength. Here's guys who were used yesterday to the bullpen. The only guy who was not used was Franklin Morales. But Jim Tracy was asked, hey, will you go with a 4-man staff the first 10 days of the season because you really don't need, with off days, a 5th? And he said, no, absolutely not, because I believe in April that extra day is very beneficial. And boy, now you think about it, and those are words of wisdom.
Well, not necessarily so much in April, what you catch in May, June, and July. I mean, it's an extra day of rest and the arms extra day to fill up and hope it benefits you down in August and September.
The quote from Ubaldo Jimenez today, he said, I hope that extra day allows me to get this thing healed up, his cut on his thumb, so he doesn't have to miss a start. Here's the 2-2 on the ground, sharply hit. Tulowitzki comes up with it. Stop it! Oh my goodness, what a play. What a pickup at first by Helton. That's why he has a gold glove. That's why Helton has 3.
That's why it's got to be a two-way street, particularly on a great play like this where you got to range up to the middle, off-balance throws. You just know when you got a guy like Todd Helton at first, though, the only thing you're thinking about, just be accurate. Be around the bag where Todd can connect with this. Great play by Tulowitzki and finished up by Helton at first base to get a guy that runs very well in Justin Upton.
The hardest thing that you have to do as a shortstop when you make that play is a lot of time you'll spin out of that, and all of a sudden you get a little dizzy and you're like, where's that first baseman? But it goes back to George's point. Throw it in the neighborhood. Todd's got it.
So many ways you can help your ball club. And, Troy, you know how he grinds, Jeff Houston, and he's upset that he doesn't have a knock yet, and he's left a few guys on base, and he's going to knock in 100+. But he just helped the club immensely, keeping Upton off first base. Young, and Smith runs into the wall and hangs on.
That ball kept going and going and going.
Dexter Fowler checks on him. He's okay. Great play by Seth Smith. Good job by Belisle coming out of the bullpen to get the final 2 outs in the 6th. Thank goodness they're padded as well. Sixth inning, won by Troy Tulowitzki, and of course Todd Helton on the other end. And This is a pretty nice catch here by Smith.
Well, it really is, and you're relying all these guys up above you in the bullpen. You know you're onto the track. You're just going to follow it in, and it's not a line drive, and you've been able to slow down and coast. But you could see him absorb the hit into those pads and hang on to the baseball. Great job, Seth Smith. See, he's floating. It's not like a dead sprint, Jeff, into something. I mean, it's still hard. It's still fun to hit it, but you're not on a dead sprint fly into this thing.
And this ball is hit to left field pretty deep. It almost got over Parra's head. I don't think he realized, Huey, how well that ball was tagged.
Well, I'm going to go back to that Seth Smith ball because these are very similar balls. Todd's was more on the line, but Parra didn't think it was hit that hard. When Chris Young hit that ball to right field, I was with Seth Smith. I didn't think it was hit this hard. But now he understands, uh-oh, I got to get going. And then when you take your third step on the warning track, you're just thinking, I know that wall's on my next step. As soon as I catch this, I'm going to hit the wall.
One out, Jose Lopez. He takes a strike. Lopez singled and scored in the fourth. Scored on a Chris Iannetta double. All 3 runs have been produced by the bottom of the order. Chris Iannetta has scored 2 of the 3 runs. He's 2 for 2. Single and a double for the Rockies catcher.
7 of 9 starts a year ago. Daniel Hudson went 7 innings. So he kind of anticipating getting out there. He's a workhorse. Has pitched 96.
Tugani and Stewart will come up. Ground out the strikeout for Stewart.
Now the first 10,000 on April the 17th will receive an Ubaldo Jimenez no-hitter commemorative bobblehead, courtesy of Wells Fargo. Add to the bobblehead collection on that date, April the 17th, to be one of the first 10,000 through the gates.
Both outs for Stewart on changeups. The rollover ground ball, Jeff Houston, and the punch out.
That's why he might get one here. Well, they went back hard inside.
This guy's going to win a lot of games.
Well, he has a pretty nice feel for pitching. Uses both sides of the plate, uses a changeup in and away.
And Stewart a little bit mildly scolding himself because he knew that was a pitch to hit.
Sometimes you're only going to get one pitch in at bat.
1-2. Well, Montero wanted it up. I don't think he wanted it that far up.
You know what? I see that about 8 or 9, 10 times a game, and it just shake my head at it. Not many guys will jump on a ball from the neck up.
2-2, and Stewart is gone for the second time tonight. Strikeout number 5 for Daniel Hudson. He's retired 7 in a row. Arizona Top of the 7th inning, Troy Tulowitzki, a sparkling play on defense last inning. And last year, he won his first Gold Glove. It will not be his last. And here was the Gold Glove ceremony before the game yesterday. And he shot a spot for Rawlings, and they gave him a Gold Glove, actually, one that was done up in gold, I guess best way to describe it, and he is giving that one to his dad, who introduced him to the game and worked with him throughout his childhood. I'm sure his days at Long Beach State. They remained very close. In fact, his dad was here yesterday. It's kind of funny. Before the ball game yesterday, as Belisle is going to give up a leadoff single here to Ryan Roberts.
Well, you look on the back of Troy's glove, guys that get Gold Gloves get this little insignia of Rollins on the back side of their gloves. You'll see it. Come on, Troy, cooperate with us just a second here. Give some good television. There it is. See it shining and reflecting on the back of that glove, and it tells that guy's a Gold Glover.
Yeah, I was saying, it was funny yesterday, George, because Tulowitzki got a Gold Glove and a Silver Slugger award before the game. Cargo needed a U-Haul truck to go home, though, because he got a Gold Glove, he got a Silver Slugger, he got his National League Player of the Year award. That's through the Players Association. He was also the Major League Player of the Year, an award that's voted on by the Major League Baseball Players Association. So he got 4 awards yesterday.
Well, I think it's pretty neat, too. There's a great story in the Denver Post about how he and Albert Pujols, when he went to his house, played a little dominoes, hung out, and he said that Albert asked for his autograph, caught him off guard. Of course, I asked for his, but he showed him the Gold Gloves, the Silver Slugger Awards, the MVP Awards, all the different things that Albert had received. He said, you will get one someday.
Well, and actually, George, what he told him, because it was late in September last year, was the final series of the year, and he said, you'll have one very soon. It's pretty evident at that point that Cargo is going to win definitely a Silver Slugger and in all probability a Gold Glove. Carney Lansford won a batting title. Appropriate that he would hand out Silver Slugger awards. The two good friends, Carlos Gonzalez and Troy Tulowitzki. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Miguel Montero. They just stood there, Huey, and for about 5 minutes kept getting trophies.
Why not?
It's like Little League.
Yep. Here you go.
Trouble, the only difference between Little League and yesterday, everybody didn't get a trophy.
Right.
Or a snack.
In between trophies, could I get a juice box, please?
What's the score?
Some
Don't
crackers.
care. Who had trophies? Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, not the Goodmans. Oh, no, this could be healthy.
Yeah. Pulled foul, just foul. Great effort by Helt.
Yeah, I know. This is pretty close. But see where Helton is, pull hitter. It is a foul ball. Todd dove outside of the bag. Once between home and first, it's the home plate umpire's call. Beyond the first base bag, first base umpire.
Yeah, Marty Foster there. He was, as we see Franklin Morales getting up to toss, Marty Foster was showing Montero how that ball curved.
Cam Micaleo is up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. He didn't get in yesterday, though he did get up at one point. This is a long run for Cargo. Oh, what a catch! Say it at home. That's why he has a Gold Glove also.
And talking about a great break, and last year he played all 3. Yeah, I'd bow too, pal. There's no question about it. That's a great play by Gonzalez and a break on the baseball. So that's what it's all about. And with Montero up, a pull hitter, typically he will not hit a ball to this side. He does hit it here. Cargo long run, lays it all out, and then utilizes the dirt to slow down. And what's amazing about this catch is how quickly this big man in full sprint, gets to his feet with anticipation of maybe a double play.
The other thing, too, is if he doesn't catch that ball, that's going to be a fair ball.
You know what, Huey? You took the words out of my mouth because we watched a replay. You're absolutely right. If he doesn't catch it and he's rolling around, you're talking about a runner at second, maybe third, and a run in for Arizona, and the whole game's changed. What a marvelous play by one of the best young players in baseball. Xavier Nady at the plate. He's 0 for 2. Xavier and his wife Meredith have a son, George. You know what their son's name is? Xavier the 7th.
Really?
In fact, Xavier's dad, Xavier the 5th, played a little football at the University of Colorado. Roberts at first. He's singled. 1 out. And now it's 3-0 on Nady. We do have an official world now on De La Rosa. It is a blister on the middle finger.
A year ago, Bilal was the guy that just attacked the strike zone. That's why he was so successful. Now he's fallen behind on Xavier Nady, but he was a guy that utilized both the slider and also the good hard sinking fastball to shorten up a lot of innings. He'd like to do it here with a ground ball.
Chance for 2. Good feed. 4, 6, 3. Rockies flashing the leather in the last 2 innings. Stretch time at Coors Field. The Rockies 3 and the Diamondbacks nothing. What a catch by Cargo.
Heading to the bottom of the 7th inning, 3-0 call. I'm over here with some friends by section 138, and you know what's great about this park in 2011? A new feature, the Wazee Market, established in 2011. Anything you could possibly want: pizza, gelato, the grill, Italian sandwiches, gelato because we had it the other day. It's fantastic. I think I had about 3 scoops of that. Plus, you can get a grab-and-go sandwich, pasta salad, a great new marketplace, some healthy choices. Again, the Coors Field Wazee Market, pretty much behind home plate, section 138. People over here enjoying it. And did I mention it has gelato?
You did. You didn't mention that you were going to share with us. Chris Ionette at the plate against Cam Nicolayo.
6'9" right-hander that can throw the baseball low to mid-90s. A lot of movement on pitches. Part of the Reynolds trade. Really, as you can see, at 6'9", really takes advantage of his leverage and deception because he's so far across his body. I mean, he is really across.
Two-strike count on Ionetta, single and a double, 2 runs scored tonight, and Nicolayo able to strike him out, 1 out. And now the Rockies will go to their bench. And batting for Matt Belisle did a terrific job, an inning and 2/3 when he had to come on for De La Rosa, who had to leave the game with a blister. So Ryan Spilborghs will pinch hit. Windshield damage, call Safelite Auto Glass, 303-287-5000. Check them out online at safelite.com. Spilborghs a pinch hitting appearance yesterday. He punched out. And this one's popped up, playable right side. Kelly Johnson in foul ground, good range. And the Rockies have their 8th inning man Betancourt, also Felipe Paulino going.
Time I see 2 guys going down in the bullpen, it's either, you know what, let's check, see if one guy's a little stiff or not. Can be one issue that you might deal with. The other is to kind of get in a pattern of warming up back to back. And then maybe knowing you're not coming into the game, but you wanted to play catch on a mound to a catcher. I mean, I did that a lot working out of the bullpen, is to get up and just throw to a catcher at about 50%.
And of course, it's commonplace for Betancourt. A new experience, George, for Paulino for the most part.
Well, it's going to be, but it's going to be an experience he better get used to, because this is something they think he can be very positive influence for this team in that 7th, 8th, and possibly 9th inning on Street's day off.
1, 2, 3 innings from Nicolayo, 3-0 Rockies as we go to the 8th. take a look at our Excel Energy save of the game. It's been the defense of the Rockies this evening. A little play by Tulowitzki and scoop at first by Helt. Chris Young drove Seth Smith into the wall. Fancy catch by Smith. And that's the catch of the night. Carlos Gonzalez down the left field line with a man aboard. The Rockies will play defense. You know that this year. Go back the last few years, they've been one of the top teams in baseball defensively. A couple of years ago, set a major league record for cumulative fielding percentage. Rafael Betancourt, 72 appearances last year. He was terrific, especially once he regained the good health. Battled some arm issues coming out of spring training a year ago. He's completely healthy right now. Looked good yesterday.
Well, he looked outstanding. And in Rockies, I think the one thing about Betancourt is it's tremendous what he does out of the bullpen. It's obvious. But I think he's also a very good veteran leadership for a lot of the younger players, younger Latin players.
Gerardo Parra will lead things off.
Miranda has stepped into the on-deck circle.
8-9-1 for Arizona here in the 8th.
Where was that pitch?
I thought that was a strike also.
I mean, that was at the belt. It might have been at the top of the zone, unless it was off the plate. No.
Borderline. I mean, it's right on that line at the top of the strike zone.
That's in there.
Jeff Nelson a couple of times, even on De La Rosa. Jeff Houston, he didn't give the high strike.
Right. Well, that one particular bat, wasn't it to Parra?
Repeated himself twice.
Yeah.
One a strike, one a ball.
Pretty nice when you're hitting. When you don't have to swing at those pitches, you can wait for another one.
Two and one.
He's just trying to hope those Rockies pull it off. He's letting it fly. Mom, Dad, little brother's looking like, what is he yelling for? He's yelling for the Rockies.
That's off the plate. 3-1.
Yeah, that time of the ball game, 8th to 9th inning, even in a 3-run deficit right now, they're losing. As a Rocky manager and a guy running a bullpen, you don't want leadoff walks. You just end up creating and flipping that lineup. And again, there's guys that you don't want to get into. And of course, that's Young, Upton, Montero, Kelly Johnson, and that's where you're headed when you start leadoff walks with 8, 9, and 1 coming up.
Well, that's so unusual for Betancourt. He walked only 8 last year, and 2 of those walks were unintentional.
Last year he had
or intentional, I should say.
Yeah, 23 holes a year ago. That tied for 5th in the National League. Gregerson with the San Diego Padres led the National League with 40.
So Juan Miranda will pinch hit for Michelaya.
Not a big lead, but a big enough lead trying to stay out of a double play ball. Keep Helton where he is. Miranda with the left-handed bat has some pop, hit 15 home runs at AAA a year ago with the Yankee organization.
He was the starter at first base yesterday for Arizona. Betancourt misses there, ball 1.
Well, you're thinking at home, if you're a Diamondback fan, why not Russell Brandon? Well, that's a guy to try to win the game. This guy more of a line drive gap hitter. Pick his spot where to do it. A few Diamondback fans hanging out.
Ball and a strike. Rockies will conclude this series with Arizona tomorrow. Off day Monday. The Dodgers come in for a quick 2-game set. Tuesday night, Wednesday afternoon, if you're thinking about coming out to the ballpark. The Yankees win again. Teixeira hit another home run, his second of the season.
Yeah, guy typically starts out pretty slow in April, too. He's been hot. Clint Hurdle got his first win as a Pirate manager yesterday and got it, the table turned a little bit today. The Cubs beat the Pirates 5-3, won yesterday 6-3.
That'll be a different Baltimore Oriole team with Buck Showalter. You started to see it late last year.
A lot different club, just like the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing.
Texas putting a hurting on Boston. That's John Lackey who started that ball game.
Texas beat him yesterday as well.
Yes, they did. High chopper foul. Washington wins 6-3. There's that Cubs score George was referencing. And the Giants finally get a victory. The defending world champs behind Matt Cain shut out the Dodgers 10-0. How about the Padres throwing up 11 runs? In that game, Albert Pujols hit his first of the year.
What is that? 2 out of 3 now against the Cardinals.
Oh, nice pick.
Good, you know what? Good pick. And if the throw is not in the dirt, they may have a shot at nailing him.
Kind of caught everybody napping just a little bit. Raphael hadn't thrown over there at all. All of a sudden he throws over there, and you're right. If it's on the money where Todd can slap that tag down, he might have a chance. But boy, it's nice to have a guy over there that can pick like that.
Yeah, isn't that fun? I mean, you remember the days when you had guys like, not a knock, but Roger Freed. It's the guys that didn't want anything to do with the baseball. If it was in the dirt, you could just add a base.
2-2, and that was not the kind of swing that Juan Miranda wanted to have.
Not seen many of those at the big league level. He may have saw someone in a Yankee uniform, but that pitch got him pretty easy. That heater got by him in a hurry. Well, right there it is again. I mean, ball caught, squeezed into the glove, and oh, I guess I'll swing. By the way, Gregerson's 40 holes a year ago. I just had Dougie look this up out of curiosity. That was a National League record.
Padre bullpen, you got 6 innings in the lead. They turned out the lights on you last year.
Yeah, it's been that way for a while. Quite a while ago.
Strike one on Willie Bloomquist. Well, Kevin Towers, as you well know, George, good friend of yours, he's put good bullpens together in San Diego. He got rid of most of the bullpen from last year because it was an absolute disaster.
Heath Bill's the guy, Gregerson, another guy that they kept around. But
yeah, but here I'm saying with
here,
Arizona.
There's no question. He had to go out and reload. Hernandez, Michelio was a guy that they got over here. Patterson, the left-hander out of the bullpen, another guy that they brought in here. Kept Gutierrez, but Poots was the big guy to get him over here to allow him to close games.
2-strike count on Bloomquist.
And you have to have that closer.
Well, I mean, you know, Josh Burns made a comment that I think you can close games with a committee.
You can't.
You just can't do that. And Josh Burns, former general manager for the Arizona,
key word.
Yeah, former Arizona Diamondbacks, now working for the Padres.
Eighth inning, Rockies up 3-0. Parra at first. 0-2, and it's lifted to shallow right. Smith will get there. Good jump by Seth Smith in right field. That's the second out, and they'll bring up Kelly Johnson. Who wants tacos, fans? If you'd like to receive text message alerts when the Rockies do score 7+ in a ball game for the Rockies Tacos Special, here's what you do. You text the keyword taco. Makes sense, right? Taco to 720-720. Feed your Rockies fever only at Taco Bell. Kelly Johnson 0 for 3 in this affair. Swung on and missed. You know, if you have dinner plans and Rafael Betancourt strolls in from the bullpen, you may be late. But if you want outs, most importantly, he's your guy.
Yeah, absolutely. He's going to work slow. He's going to slow it down to his pace of what he wants. There's nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of guys have success disrupting timing with speeding up the game and also slowing the game down.
Well, I think you can also do it, George, and you can speak better than I as a reliever.
Well,
as a starter,
sure.
it's nerve-wracking for an infielder or an outfielder.
As long as it's not exposed for a long period of time, that's part of it. You know, they had the left-hander Patterson going earlier. Dummel, the right-hander, started to throw now. The guy that throws a heavy sinker came in and pitched well in the game last night. But you have two left-handers coming up in a row, but it looks like Dummel's going to be the guy. Rockies send up Seth Smith, then Gonzalez and Tulowitzki.
Ball and a strike on Johnson. Outside. Did you guys find that you enjoy so much opening day, and we talked about it extensively yesterday, but when day 2 of the season arrives, you can kind of get back into a more normal routine?
For me, it was more of where you played. I mean, like Cleveland, 84,000. The next day you had 84. You know, I mean, it was as a player, you walk out and you're like, oh, wow, now here in this park tonight, you've got, 35 to 40,000 people again watching a game. It's not hard to get back up again. But with the rhythm of what you're doing, the patterns of what you're doing, at this day and age, Drew, as much as guys, the money they make, the apartment's already rented, the furniture's in, you've already sent in your winter clothes and summer clothes, so really you're basically hanging up what you have from spring training. The cars are shipped here for you. They're waiting in a parking lot. So it's a lot like just being at home. A lot of that problem gets taken care of.
3-1 on Johnson. And a line drive right at Jose Lopez. Betancourt walk Parra leading off the inning, not a problem. Middle of 8, the Rockies have all the runs. That's a good thing. Summary. Rockies got a run in the third, 2 more in the fourth. Couple of 2-out hits. Chris Ionnetta's been in the middle of things offensively, 2 for 3, single and a double. De La Rosa had to leave with a blister on his finger, but he was sensational through 5 1/3. He has a blister on his middle finger. Joe Patterson is on the hill for Arizona. That pitch was his first pitch as a major leaguer. Welcome to the big leagues.
Well, in a 3-0 game, you're facing 2 pretty good hitters here, too. You talk about a guy throwing across. That thing laid some hemp there. That ball's hit well.
This ball's hit really well, and it is over the head and hops over the wall. It'll be a ground rule double for Seth Smith. Parra couldn't get there. Seth Smith left on left Jeff Houston during spring training. It was a big focus of his, and he hit just a notch under 500 in 22 at-bats in spring training, and that was a good-looking AB.
Well, it was, and because of the way he stayed inside this ball and kept that right front shoulder in. It doesn't go out or anything like that. Head follow through everything. He's just thinking about hitting this ball to right center field, and boy, does he drive it that way. And Parra got a jump on it, but he still twisted around right at the end.
I thought he should have made this catch. He turned about 4 different ways to get to it, and then it just hits right off the back side of the glove when he got back there. But to go into left center on a guy that's really crossed his body almost foot and a half, talking about Patterson coming to the plate.
And Cargo pulls the baseball. He does his job. And he moves a potential 4th run to third base with 1 out.
That was just a perfect execution by Seth Smith, because what happened last year, we talked about this front shoulder, when he started to swing, this would start to come out. That doesn't allow you to hit the ball off the left-handers very well at all. So what Carney Lansford said is make sure this thing stays in there, so now when he goes to hit that ball that way, see the difference here? Instead of going this way, the barrel's already left the plane of the plate. Stay on it here, drive it the other way, and that's exactly why he hit it that way, guys.
Well, it was well executed, and then Carlos Gonzalez has a batting crown. That was a great team at bat.
Well,
right
it
there.
was. I mean, you know, you've got a 3-0 lead, and you know they're going to force their way into the bullpen. They have one left-hander in the bullpen, so you forced him to come in and face Smith and Gonzalez. Now you got Tulowitzki, so you're going to bring a right-hander in to face the right-hander. Then you got Helton again. So you hope it plays into your favor if you're Jim Tracy of setting this up the way you need it to set up to add a little bit to the 3-0 lead already.
Well, the Rockies are indeed set up for that. We'll step aside with the pitching change. Rockies up 3-0, bottom of the 8th with 1 out. Seth Smith, who doubled, is at third base. Troy Tulowitzki will hit next. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Colorado Rockies and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Colorado Rockies. So Tulowitzki steps in, looking for his first 2011 RBI. Sam Demmel is on the hill. Demmel worked in the ball game yesterday and ended up getting the win, pitching a scoreless 10th inning. The infield pulled in.
Well, one number that will change with Tulowitzki, should change, could, right here. He's 0 for 4 this season with runners in scoring position. A year ago, he hit .314 in this situation.
And that's inside, 2-0. And Jeff, picking up on the thought we had last time, this may be the first 2-0 count for Tulowitzki this year, though he did have a walk yesterday.
Well, and it doesn't get any better for him either, because the infield's playing in, outfield's there's a lot of green grass that a ball could find a hole.
Chopped foul. That was over the head of Roberts. And Jeff, when you're playing infield in, I'm sure you saw that many times in your career, where because you're in, a ball gets chopped over your head, you look at it hopeless, that hopeless feeling.
Yeah, nothing you can do. You just sit there and you just hope that the umpire calls it foul, because you can't get to it. You just watch it.
Inside, 3-1.
See, the heavy sinker Dimmel throws, and it is heavy. If he walks Elton, I think his ability to get left-handers out, Tulowitzki, his ability to get out left-handers, I really don't think it would matter. They'll try to turn the double play with Todd Helton. He's pounded nothing but 4 straight sinkers in on Tulowitzki. Going in again.
Ball 4.
Yep. That doesn't surprise me much, because he sets up the double play, and this is something that he could get a lot of double plays. That's what Gibson's hoping for right now. I mean, well off of the plate, not really anything to hit at all.
So now you play it even at the corners and double play depth up the middle, Huey, huh?
Yeah, but my only caveat to that, George, is Troy might try to steal a base, too.
Well, he can. He had 11 stolen bases last year and was only caught twice.
And again, you have functional speed on both corners. 2 athletic guys. Smith at third, Tulowitzki at first. Helton in the ball game has lifted the ball 3 times. 0 for 3, a couple of fly balls and a pop out.
Dimmel's about 128, 131 to the plate. That's the 3 or 4 different times that we've had on him in the scouting that is provided to me. And one thing that he does do very well is he'll throw that hard sinker. So maybe that'll even play into a little bit of what Tulowitzki's doing at first base as far as trying to steal a base, because I think Arizona will throw through and try to get the runner. Now, they haven't done it twice, 2 nights in a row, but in this situation, I think they would.
See, I would go the opposite. I think they wouldn't throw, because they can't afford to steal a run, fall down 4-0.
Yeah, Helton hits a double play ball.
All boot right there. The guy came in and just made the pitch that he wanted to do, avoided the bat of Tulowitzki and tried to just turn a double play, and they did it.
Rockies 3 outs away from their first victory. By Southwest Airlines, new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Ninth inning at 20th and Blake. The Rockies 3 and the Diamondbacks nothing. And Houston Street will try to nail down save number 1 in 2011.
Absolutely will. And it'll be fired sinkers right at trying to get ahead, work ahead, and keep the bases empty.
It'll be the middle of the order for Arizona. Justin Upton, Chris Young, Ryan Roberts, as we check in with Tom Helmer for a Toyota post-game preview. Tom, what do you got?
Drew, can't put my finger on it. You got two pitchers now that have finger issues, Ubaldo Jimenez and Jorge De La Rosa. We'll hear from Jorge De La Rosa after the ball game. Also, Chris Iannetta shows some hustle, scoring a couple big runs tonight offensively, and Department of Defense. Great defense, especially behind Matt Belisle tonight for the Rockies. We'll have all those highlights and much more coming up on the Toyota postgame report. Drew?
You going to sing a little crisscross in the postgame as well?
I'm going to dance for sure. I hope this desk is reinforced because I'm going to be on it.
Well, you know what? You trimmed down from last year, so I think we're okay.
I was 210. I'm now 209, so I'm more svelte.
I noticed. That's Tom Helmer and the gang on the Toyota postgame preview. All right, here we go. Justin Upton fouled out to first, a strikeout, and robbed of a hit by Troy Tulowitzki. That was interesting. You gotta get on base when you're down by 3. You can't hit a 3-run home run with nobody on. Justin Upton thinking about bunting his way on, but Huey, that looked like he hadn't tried to bunt since he was 7 years old.
And even then, I'm not sure why he would want to bunt when he was 7, because he's a pretty big boy. But you're right that you think about this, you need base runners. He's just a big guy, that's all.
You know, Roberts is due up third. I think that's the shot. If you get a couple of guys on, you'll see Brandon come up to swing the bat.
That's in there for a strike, 1-2. Street worked a scoreless 9th yesterday, though he gave up a hit and a walk. He did not face Upton yesterday. Here's the 1-2. A bullet knocked down by Lopez. That's all he could do. He was positioned in the right spot, but that was a rocket. So it's a base hit for Upton. Our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Dexter Fowler at the plate, scoreless ball game, opposite field power. A double for Dexter. Chris Iannetta coming home with the Rockies' first run. It's our Coors Light Cold Hard Blast. Dex has the new do going to start 2011. The box cut. Chris Young 0 for 3.
Last year, Street 20 of 25 in save opportunities. Amazing run he had in 2009. Not many closers can claim 23 1-2-3 innings.
What makes him a little bit different, George? A couple things. He's not the high 90s, 95 plus closer that you see more frequently. And he's also a 3-pitch closer. Usually most closers are 2-pitch guys.
Right, 2 and sometimes just 1. I mean, they're just dead heat, hard as they can throw it. Like Mariano Rivera, just cutter with some heat behind it. Street has worked very hard, I think, to try to freeze up left-handers with the changeup.
Good pitch, well located. That's what Street has to do. Upton was moving. It's 2-2. A reminder coming up during the Toyota postgame show. You can also visit with the crew in center field through Toyota Talk. What we do at the top of the 6th inning, they'll do throughout the postgame show. Again, text Toyota followed by a space, and then your thoughts on tonight's ball game to 720-720. Yeah, I know. Ninth inning, the final 3 outs. Now, that kid had cotton candy earlier. See, there's a sugar issue there, Frazier.
Yeah, big time sugar issue.
2-2, just missed. 3-2. Now he's so hungry he's eating paper now. Mom, it's Saturday night. I'll have to get up early for school. We're okay.
Let's see if Upton takes off here.
Got to believe he will. No, he's not moving here, and this is pop foul.
Moved on a previous pitch, not this one.
You know, one of the things I'm sure Kirk Gibson, Jeff's thinking about, yeah, you want to stay out of the double play, but Chris Young runs exceptionally well.
Right, and so the only way you hit into a double play if you're Kirk Gibson would be if that ball was hit hard. So he's going to take his chances, say, well, maybe he sends Upton this time. He didn't choose to last time.
Not going. And this is out of play on the right side.
Little mustache Santa Claus beard look here? Not sure.
Oh, he's starting to come down now.
Crashed out in the car, though. I can guarantee you that much.
That's okay. Just got to stay up for 3 outs. He's going to need the, you know what? He's going to need the handy wipe, though. He's got cotton candy all over his face. It's a beautiful thing.
Got him.
Ooh. Oh, you know what? He
Close.
had Upton leaning.
Now, do they take it off? He just went to his belt. And a lot of times belt's the indicator don't run.
Not going. And Chris Young again fouls it back. Rockies 3, Arizona nothing. Top of 9. Upton a base hit to lead off the inning. 7 hits for the Rockies, just 5 hits for Arizona.
There was no belt given by Glenn Sherlock this time. Upton might take off.
He's going. And it's ball 4. And now the tying run comes to the plate in Brian Roberts. I thought they may run Russell Branyan right here, Jeff, in that behind Roberts you have Montero who can go deep. You have Nady who can go deep.
That's the one spot I think he might use him, though, to go left on right instead of right on right. So maybe wait to get to Nady.
Yeah, you know what? He may be thinking that.
Well, the only reason I say that because you only have Blanco, Melvin Mora, because Stephen Drew is not. Well, Stephen Drew is available possibly to pinch hit, not to play in the field.
I just think you got a chance to tie the thing up. Brandon's got a lot better chance than Roberts to hit the thing at Country Mine.
Yeah, you know, again, it's easy for us to play with Kirk Gibson's cards, but you wouldn't want, from their perspective, Arizona's perspective, this game to end and Branyan not to be able to swing the lumber 3 times when he could come up as a tying run.
Go back to yesterday's ball game. Nothing in the bottom of the 9th. Jim Tracy threw up Jason Giambi because that same exact reason.
Exactly. One of the interesting things yesterday, I don't know if you guys have ever come across this before, Kirk Gibson was asked, actually going back to Thursday's workout, Jeff, we were all in his office with a few other media members, and Gibson was asked, what's the starting lineup going to be tomorrow? And he said, you know what, I'm not sure yet. I've written one down. KT, meaning Kevin Towers, had. I've asked for a lineup from all my coaches. No swing.
A lot of discussion over that starting lineup among coaches, KT, and deciding which way they were going to go, and it was an input from everyone. I don't think he did go on the overhead camera.
No, he held up.
That was a good call by Marty Foster at first.
Upton at second, Young at first, 1 and 2 with Matt Reynolds tossing. They're seeing the ball pretty well, Jeff, against Houston Street.
Well,
some good hacks.
Yeah, because the ball's been up a couple different times. That ball right there that Roberts swung at, the ball was up. Houston has to get back and working down into the zone again.
Pitch selection here, George?
Absolutely. I mean, on a 1-2 count, I mean, make something away from him with a hard slider down and away. That's just for me, you just take everything away from it. If you take the ball and you run a fastball that runs back middle half in, you're feeding into his power. At least something moving away or on the outer half of the plate makes it pretty hard to hit it hard. One more shot, that hard slider, rotation coming in off the end of the bat, shattered into many pieces.
And it was on the slider you called for.
Well, I might have called for it. I'm not sure I net have heard me.
No, I don't think he did.
Crazy Larry wanted that pitch all game, right?
Yeah, he's still wanting it.
Base hit to left. Upton will come home. Young stops at second. It's 3-1. Nobody out in the ninth. Roberts torched the Rockies a couple of times last year, and he burns Houston Street here behind in the count in the ninth inning.
Bob Apodaca will have a quick visit with Houston Street out on the mound, and you can see the target trying to go away, except that ball stayed a little more elevated in the strike zone and allowed Roberts to yank it out into left field, out of the reach of Ian Stewart, and the speed here of Upton comes around to score the first run of the ball game.
Well, let me tell you about Ryan Roberts. A year ago, I told you he only had a relative handful of at-bats, couple home runs, 9 RBIs. 5 of the RBIs came against the Rockies. And he has his first RBI of 2011 against the Rockies.
And not a fun guy coming to the plate right now in Miguel Montero.
No, I mean, he hit one of the back of the bullpen yesterday.
And you got the left-handed Reynolds coming up. Brannon's in the down deck circle to hit for Xavier Nady.
The only good thing about Montero being at the plate is he is a prime double play candidate if you can get him to hit one on the ground at somebody. This ball stroked to center field and deep, and Fowler makes the catch. Young was running. He's going to get back to second. And that ball was tattooed.
Well, here's the thing about that, too. With Young going, I mean, the hitter's got to be able to see the runner going. And with nobody out, all he was trying to do was get to third base with nobody out. That fly ball scores him there. If he allows to advance, I mean, I'm glad it didn't happen. Now you're one pitch double play and it's over. 21st pitch coming from Houston Street here in this ninth inning.
So Brannion to hit for Nady. Going back to our conversation, Jeff Houston was right on. Kirk Gibson preferred to have Brannion hit in this spot than for Brian Roberts.
Straight up switch this way, and it's position wise if this game gets tied up or goes ahead.
This is a scary guy. He has hit a bunch of home runs in his career.
He's done a lot of it as a pinch hitter, too. Well, we talked about Young had third base stolen, and there was some conversation. Watch when he gets back here to second base. I mean, he's disappointed that Montero didn't see him take off with the bag stolen.
Oh, you couldn't see him. He was right in front of you.
Branyan with a 1-strike count at 25 home runs between Cleveland and Seattle last year in 376 at-bats. I mean, that's a 45 home run type pace in a full season of at-bats. He hit 31 in 09 for Seattle in 431 at-bats, and that's a pitcher's park. So you get the drift on his power. First hit the big leagues with Cleveland in 1998. Two-strike count. Gerardo Parra is in the on-deck circle. Infield swung around on the pull side. Outfield pretty much straight up and deep. Houston preoccupied now with Chris Young's presence at second. Pulled, foul. Good play by Todd.
Todd's playing no doubles right now. So he just that step off the line. He makes sure that ball doesn't get by you.
Well, too, and I've noticed something on the mound right now. Jose Lopez, who played with Branyan in Seattle a year ago, called time and came to the mound. What's the message? Well, only time will tell, or if he feels like maybe pitches getting taken or what they're doing. But whatever it is, Lopez, who was a teammate of Branyan, saw something that he needed to bring to the attention of Chris Iannetta and Houston Street.
Here's the 0-2. "35-year-old Russell Branyan." Well, a couple of Diamondback fans scattered amongst a whole bunch of Rockies fans. Change up again. Branyan keeping the at-bat alive.
That's the only thing concerning you, that even though an 0-2 count, he's fouled off quite a few pitches, and you're just kind of thinking, what else do you go to after this? A lot of pitches in this inning, 25 so far. A lot of strikes, 19 of them. It's just a lot of balls getting fouled off and extended.
Another 0-2. And now Lindstrom has joined Matt Reynolds.
He didn't get hurt on that.
Yeah, I don't think he did. I just feelings maybe, because he made that spin to go, and then all of a sudden he, just feet went right out from underneath. Watch when he spins so fast on this to get the pick off. See those cleats look like as if they hit the rubber up at the top, and they just went right out from underneath.
Two on Russell Branyan. 27 pitches already thrown by Street in the inning. He's got one out. There's a run in. The tying run at first base in Ryan Roberts. De La Rosa, 5 1/3 innings of shutout baseball. Had to leave prematurely with a blister on his middle finger. Belisle an inning and 2/3. No runs and a hit. Betancourt a clean 8th. With the exception of a walk. But Street has struggled here in the 9th. High fly ball, and it'll stay in the ballpark, I think. Fowler makes the catch, and everybody will move up 90 feet. That ball just kept going and going. I didn't think he was going to get anywhere near the warning track.
Well, looking out at the flags, there's not a lot of wind, and before earlier it was blowing in Jeff's face. Now it's pretty still, but that's a strong man to swing that back.
Good thing it went to the 420 part of this field, too.
You see Dex, he cuts across. Now he keeps drifting back. He would not have gotten out, but it was too close for comfort, put it that way. 2 outs, and now a base hit in all likelihood would tie up the game because both runners moved up. Gerardo Parra. Oh for 1, 2 walks tonight for Parra. +40,000 standing. 3-1 Rockies. Here's the 0-1.
A lot of discipline that time by Parra not to go after the high fastball.
One-two, got him. Houston Street ends up nailing down the 3-1 victory. It wasn't comfortable, but it's a W. The Rockies' first win of 2011, 3-1 final over Arizona. Through the fastball by Gerardo Parra.
Now worked the upper half of the zone. You can see his reaction. He closed it down. It took 29 pitches to do it, but he did shut down the ninth. Everybody could smile now for Houston Street, the first save of 2011.
Time for a Jimmy John's delivery of the game. How about the work of Jorge De La Rosa tonight? De La Rosa was dominant on the hill, 5 punch-outs in 5 1/3. He had a wonderful changeup to go with a mid-90s fastball. Oh, by the way, how about a 2-out line drive single to bring home the Rockies' 3rd run, Chris Iannetta. Rockies win it 3-1. Tomorrow, the rubber game. Stick around. The Toyota post-game report is up next right here from 20th and Blake.